welcome to Infamous, the audio podcast. This is Brandon, or Mutilus, on the forum.
This is Jeremy. I go by Not Parker on the forum.
This is Parker. I go by Dr. Mantis MD Toboggans on the forum. And no, I'm just kidding. Parker's not here today.
He's not here. More demerits.
Yeah, more demerits. In fact, I think the new punishment system, the last one we went to was like times 10, right?
So it was extreme. It was extreme.
It was pretty bad.
But necessary.
We told them this was just the road to more anger and hate down the road. So we're gonna have to we'll bring this up next time and we'll decide what his punishment will be. We'll see what his excuse is, but we talked about it in the pre-ramble. We're like 99% sure he just fell asleep.
I don't think he's learned.
Considering we were waiting to start for Parker,
yeah,
the fall asleep argument is not great.
Yeah,
it's like we started late so you could record. It's like I fell asleep.
The demerit system definitely he has not learned.
Yeah.
So
it's clearly
we're gonna have to increase.
So we're gonna have to move up to disagulations.
Disagulations.
Yeah. All right. So unfortunately, everyone at home knows probably what's about to happen. I'm going to be forced to read Parker's news.
Oh no! Parker's news. Parker's news. Parker's news. Parker's news.
News. So anyone paying attention to online stuff probably already knows this, but we're getting some slow leaks about the rules updates to come later this year. And they released a comprehensive guide to what they expect to change in the core rules.
Ooh.
Many of these we've already talked about. The big three of being that they're going to up the tactics cards to 10. The Infinity Gems will be taken as part of a character selection, not as part of a roster selection. And the final one is the way that missions will be chosen as part of the game. So those are like the big three we knew about from the stream that happened. In their like Streamapalooza or whatever they called it. Mini Extravaganza, that's what it's called, Mini Extravaganza. But we now know of a new core rule change that's coming that a lot of us have been hoping for, and that is the choice of who is going to select the point total has shifted from the player with priority to the second player. So
no shit.
The second player will be able to choose the point total for the game, which is pretty big.
I did not see that.
Right? You didn't.
I
see it?
didn't.
It
you got me.
Tucked in here.
You got me.
I got him, ladies and gentlemen. We got him. Let's find it here. It's after the picture of the Midnight Suns. So if you watch our recent streams, blah blah blah, getting to select which crisis type you get to use for the game and the threat value led to a style of play that we were not a fan of, as it artificially inflated the importance of crisis selection above that of even the characters chosen for the game.
Wow.
We want players to remain focused on the characters they pick and the tactics cards they use, and not focused on creating spreadsheets of opening moves, and therefore we're also randomizing crisis selection. Giving the non-priority players selecting the threat value of the game both work together to help combat these play patterns. So, yeah. Basically, we're not going to have to worry about one player making all the decisions anymore, which is nice. I'm very happy.
That is excellent. The random crisis now with the point totals and all that, it really is nice to start a game fresh. That feels so fresh, so nice and clean and tight.
Generally speaking, we are very against playing stuff before it's released, and I think this is one of the few changes I would actually be tempted to implement immediately before it's actually officially a change, because I think this is just objectively good for the game. Pretty much all of these three. I think the Infinity Gems depends on your faction. Like, it's obviously intended to focus, nerf, or buff specific characters. And so that's kind of like a perspective thing on if it's good or bad for you. I think the randomized crisis selection is bad. I'm not a fan of it. I've said that. But I understand the reasoning behind it. I just don't agree with the implementation of the fix. But the 10 tactic slots and the non-priority player chooses point total are literally objectively good changes for the game, and if anybody is disagreeing with that, they don't see the game from a balanced perspective, is my only justification. Like, I don't see how you can play this game and think that 10 tactics cards and second player choosing point total is bad for the game. I just do not see how that's an option.
The only people who are saying that are people who are gaming a system entirely. They were saying, if I get priority, I win this game. Let me tell you how. X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's shitty. Nobody wants to do that. Or,
And I even refuse to believe that. Like, yeah, you can build a really significant advantage that has very few ways to deal with anything outside of I can perform the formula to get extra points. Like, right? Like, they are selling out so hard that if your opponent has any kind of real control, they can break it up, in my opinion. And so if you're playing against people that don't bring the tools to stop it and don't know how to stop it, then, and yeah, you're just going to farm free wins. Like, I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's more of a play group problem. Like, if you are just exploiting a weakness within your play group, then I don't see how you're really, like, you shouldn't feel good about that.
Some people
And
do. Some people love it.
I mean, there's been situations like, obviously Hired Muscle was too good. Like, that, there's no question that card was too good.
Correct.
But I only think it was really broken because of the Mayor Fisk mission that had secures that were civilians. That's when it was like, okay, this is definitely not okay. Like, it was a 4-point swing for 1 power. It was fucking crazy. Yeah, so this is a good change. I'm surprised you didn't hear about this.
I don't know. Somehow I missed this one. It didn't pop up on my Facebook stuff. That's where I usually catch everything, is off the Facebook feeds.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Missed it. You got me.
Yeah. All right, what is up next? We have one new character spoiler. Let me go and pull it up real quick. Jeremy knows what I'm talking about. You've seen this one.
I've seen this one. I'm sure.
We have.
I'm upset we're talking about this without Parker here.
I know, right?
There's no one champions this more than him.
The man himself, the myth, the legend, the mystic rider, Johnny Blaze himself. And so quickly, I'm used to Parker going into it.
Yeah.
Parker, why are you not here?
No.
I have to read. Ghost Rider, Jonathan Blaze. He's still 344. He, however, has gone up to 8 hit points on the front. I think I saw online someone claimed he was getting +1 health on the back. I don't believe that. Like, if he's getting +2 health... Okay, I guess to cover this real quick, I think he's good already. like this character is very annoying to play against. The deal with the Devil card is crazy. So covering this, 8 health on the front, rumored to have 6 on the back now. Or is he already 6 on the back? Let me see. I can't remember. Well, I guess here. Oh, they have his back. Yeah. Okay. He's going to 7 on the back.
So he's 15 health?
He's 15 health.
So he's 30 health?
Oof. Yeah, he's 7-6 right now. He's going to 8-7. Man, that is a beefy boy. Okay. So covering the rest of his stuff, still size 3, still speed medium. Chains of Damnation is unchanged. Still does Hex on a wild. Gain power for damage dealt. Range 3, 6 dice. Flames of Hell, still beam 3, 5 dice. Cost 2. I'm just going to open this up in 2 panels so I can actually see them both. I don't like going back and forth between the 2 cards. Yeah, so still beam 3, 5 dice, cost 2. If the attack deals damage, they gain Incinerate. That was before. Penance Stare. Still range 3, 5 dice, cost 5. Mystic. Add dice to the attack pool equal to the amount of power on your opponent, up to a maximum of 5. And then instead of gaining power, they lose power for each damage dealt. Hell on Wheels unchanged. Wicked Judgment is unchanged, which is his kind of like his core ability. Now, where things start changing, Spirit of Vengeance used to read, after an attack made by an enemy character that is within 3 of this character is resolved, if that attack targeted another allied character, gain 1 power. New Spirit of Vengeance, after an attack targeting another allied character is resolved, this character, if it dealt damage, this character gains 1 power. So there's no longer a range restriction, but it must deal damage. And now he is gaining immunity to bleed, hex, incinerate, and poison. Which feels like an oversight that he was not immune to at least incinerate before.
Shit got real.
Like, yeah, he got a lot of stuff.
This guy's crazy. Like,
so this is the kind of stuff when I was talking about, I was like, I didn't want sweeping changes throughout the game. I feel like this is one of them. This character was not inferior to the game. Like, this character had relevant things it did in the game. And so, yeah, sure, he probably wasn't the best 5-point character, but he was far from the worst.
I feel like, yeah, they've slammed this guy towards the front. So all it's going to do is things like this, these kind of changes, just leave a different model in the dirt Like
Yeah.
something else will be left behind. So what do you do? Just
Yeah, shaking up the top 5 is just going to change the top 5. It's not going to
yeah.
change the quantity of 5-pointers that see play. It just means nobody's going to reach for Thor now. Like, it's just gone. Nobody's going to play Loki or like just pick a 5-point character. Just got pushed further down the list.
Like I would like to see this guy with these changes. They should have shifted him to fucking speed and like slow or something. I mean, it doesn't make any sense why. Like this changes
He's
are crazy.
not like a 6-point character, but holy shit, if you start like this in a vacuum, he's probably fine at 5 points. I don't see a problem with this model being a 5-point character. The problem I have is when you start including Deal with the Devil into the mix.
Yep.
That's a problem. Like now we're talking about this is going to be impossible to get rid of him.
How many throws do you
Like
have?
he got the Gamora facelift and then some. Like you cannot tell me Ghost Rider was a worse 5-pointer than Gamora was a 4. Gamora was probably the worst 4-pointer in the game, and Ghost Rider got more stuff than she did, right?
Yeah,
He got four immunities and an upgrade on his ability instead of stealth. That's better.
So
Especially for him.
The only caveat to all of it, the only thing is he doesn't steal objectives. He doesn't do any of that shit. And he doesn't throw models. He doesn't push models.
He rips your fucking heart out of your chest.
So, I mean, he doesn't...
How many times have you seen someone survive Penance Stare?
I've never survived it, okay?
Okay.
But
I've also never survived it.
It's pretty good.
You know how hard it is for him to get to 5 power? Not. That's how hard it is.
Especially now. Yeah, like you could kind of duck and dodge it.
Oh, did your opponent do anything? Here's 3 power. Like, oops, sorry. He makes She-Hulk's leadership just look okay. Like that's like he has a passive that's as good as a leadership.
It's wild. Yeah, he's good, man. You're gonna see him. It's gonna be crazy.
Because the whole point of him is he used to be like the middle, like he had to play in the middle, which is why like Deal with the Devil seemed kind of fair because he had to be so close to the center of the table with all of his stuff to work. But now that his power gainer is global, he's gonna have so much more power that Hell on Wheels is gonna come online very early in the games, and he's gonna be going all over the fucking place. Mm-hmm. And there's missions that he is super not balanced on already. Like if you play the Worthy with him and Ghost Rider gets 3 tokens, the game's just over. You'll never see them again. He's gonna just come in, hit you with 18 dice of attacks, and then just speed long, large base away, and you'll never see the points. Like he'll just get free kills for the rest of the game. Mm-hmm. It's a nightmare. This guy can get on a serious roll. Not to mention just like how punished you can get randomly on Wicked Judgment. Like, oh look, I rolled 2 crits into 2 other crits. So I take 4 damage, even though I only got effectively 2 crits. Like I've seen that happen. It's like, oh sorry, you explode mid-attack. Sorry. Like, I was gonna move over here and contest this point, but I guess instead I'm just turned to ash. Cool.
Oh, and he comes right along with the changes to Guardians too, which makes Guardians really in the heat. He plops right in there. Like he's not even expensive when you have an 8-point.
He's gonna become the #1 drop-in 5-pointer, I think.
Maybe.
Okay, so MODOK might hold on to the spot, but what's another even competitive 5-pointer compared to this guy?
I mean, so 5-pointers, you're looking at Strange, but Strange is never 5 points.
Strange is in 5 points, yeah. Here, I'll just sort it by point totals. Threat value, and give me 50. All right. So options are Amazing Spider-Man, which I don't think so. He's too power hungry in a faction by himself. Angela, no. Black Bolt, no. Cable, no. Cassandra Nova, no. Doctor Strange, no. Sorcerer Supreme, maybe. I don't know. We have to see him on the table first. His kit's too complicated to just say no, but I don't think so. Ebony Maw, jokingly bad. Jean Grey, MODOK, the only one that's even close to possible. And don't forget, MODOK's getting 3 nerfs before it's even a question. Mm-hmm. Scarlet Witch, Thor, Prince of Asgard, the list.
So,
you can't tell me he's not at top 2. Like he might be worse than MODOK. He's better than everyone else on that list.
I agree. I mean, he is a splash that's always going to be good, right? Like, you just put him in there. I've got, a 5-foot, throw him in there. Unless you need a Scarlet Witch for Brotherhood.
Think of the popularity of including 2-pointers right now. Like, how many people take a 2-pointer in every squad? Like, it's almost unanimous. At least in Kansas City, everyone does. There's almost always a 2-pointer. And so you're telling me, for the cost of Strange, you get 2 Ghost Riders. You can't play them at the same time, but you get 2 of them.
That's to say people aren't playing Ultron as well. I mean, this is a grind coming. Like, we've got a grind on the horizon, man.
Mm-hmm.
How does that even work? How does Ghost Rider work with Ultron? Can you murder Ultron and then Ultron comes back? Can he become Ultron?
Yes.
And Ultron comes back?
The only question is, does it say enemy effect? I'm pretty sure it does not. Nope. You can do it.
For Ultron?
Yeah. You can do Deal with the Devil into Ultron. Ultron can come back.
Yeah. That's cute. I mean, it's a lot of power, obviously, and it's a special circumstance, but it's kind of hilarious.
Well, but, yeah. You can also, what is it? What's the name of that card? Last minute save? There's an interaction that still exists, I'm pretty sure. Because they fixed the obvious one. Oh, no, because it's not on the card. They fixed it in the text. I have to look it up on the website. Damn it. Organized play. Rata and FAQ.
He's got a monster as a 4 energy defense. So, I mean, how good is he at flipping those objectives, too? Like,
very.
He just hops up there, rides up, does a move, flips one, then moves away. Like, oh my god.
All right, last minute saves. Text has been replaced with when another allied character within 3 of an allied lockjaw would be KO'd by an enemy effect. Okay, so it has to be an enemy effect now is the wording change. You can still last minute save in the list. You just can't do it off of your own cards. So if you wanted to, like if you were at a bad opportunity to use your like Deal with the Devil or something, like I'm trying to think of a situation that would matter. I don't think there is really one. But if you just wanted to save it, like you didn't want to flip at the wrong time, you could last minute save Age of Ultron and Deal with the Devil all in one list.
Which, now that you can have 10 cards, I mean, why not?
Yeah, it's not even like a downside anymore.
Which is cool. That's all cool.
Yeah, I think this is a bit aggressive on the buffing. It seems quite good.
Their sales must not have been very good. They're like, look at this. We've got all these extra Ghost Riders laying around.
And see, this is the only real concern I have, is that because some people are more influential or mainstream, I guess, like if somebody close to the developers is telling them, like for example, like I know the Omnis podcast, like I know they know him and I know they interact a lot, and so a lot of the changes we've seen so far have come from people like that are just close with the devs and are pointing out specific interactions to them. And so I'm wondering if, well, they just think Ghost Rider's bad, and so he's going to get buffed because they didn't like him or something.
Yeah, I think a lot of the game is heavily influenced like that. Like someone will say something who's an influencer and people don't use it. I mean, it's in your local meta too. I mean, basically,
I've seen people like, oh man, Drax is so bad for 3 points. I'm like, what are you looking at? Like, this character is bonkers.
And it really is like meta or, group of people related, because I can turn basically anyone in the store off or for a character in a single day. Yeah. So it doesn't really matter that much. Whereas I felt Ghost Rider was kind of right in the middle. It was like, if you see him in a list, it's like, he's fine. Yeah. It's like, I might choose something else. What's the job he's trying to do?
Yeah. If we look at it now, so the other question is, what are the other 5-point characters going to look like when we get done?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of the question. But there's, like, Jean Grey was already in Ghost Rider's Dust. Now it's not even, like, you can't even see her. Like, she's garbage compared to this character.
Well, I mean, you have... one of them is a fork and the other is a couple of plates. What are you trying to do?
Yeah. Man, what are the top 3 5-pointers then? We've got...
MODOK.
So if we're counting the changes, I think it's Ghost Rider and MODOK are like unquestionably 1 and 2.
Scarlet Witch.
Probably Scarlet Witch is number 3.
And Doctor Strange, New Strange. I think he's up there.
New Strange might be. Well, he cannot take the times. Yeah, no time stone for him. Yeah, he will probably end up being number 3 or number 4, depending on how he falls. But yeah, so as far as I can tell, Nova and Phoenix have both been big misses. Cable and Black Bolt are about in the same place. You only really take them to play their affiliation. Angela is basically a dud outside of scenario manipulation. Amazing Spider-Man is solid. He's like the middle of the pack. He's the line. You must be Amazing Spider-Man or better to get played. Like,
Yeah.
that's the question.
I would agree.
Amazing Spider-Man has amazing potential, but in a vacuum, he kind of needs other people around him that synergize to really let him go crazy.
I think he's better than that, but that's my personal opinion. But again,
I've seen him in several games. I've only played him once. I think he's good, but like in the stable of I'm going to play like Scarlet Witch, like I don't know. Scarlet Witch has her own flaws, but there's no question she's amazing at what she does. Is where Spider-Man's thing is like, if I get good dice, you're fucked. I'm like, yeah, I guess. Like, yeah, he could go from good to fucking crazy if your dice are hot.
he doesn't have a thing he makes happen for sure, whereas some of the others have a specific role. I mean, yeah.
The big thing I notice about him is that he doesn't quite have enough power to do everything he wants to do.
To me,
But-
I think Ghost Rider feels almost like Amazing Spider-Man in the sense of they're really strong, but it's like, what? At least Spider-Man can grab objectives like a motherfucker. Like, he can do a job. Like, that's his deal. He'll grab objectives, leave, go away, beat up somebody in the middle. Like, beat up somebody on a flank. They can't be helped. I'm not sure what Ghost Rider's job actually is, other than to kind of murder the shit out of things. Like, is that a job? I
think
guess.
I think you'd be amazed how similar he plays to Peter.
Probably. I mean, he is as survivable, being that he can respawn. I mean,
Well, if we're assuming tactics cards, I think Ghost Rider is slightly harder to kill. The thing that you really have to remember is with Deal with the Devil, you also remove an activated token. And so if your opponent triggers that at a bad time, you're looking at a double activating Ghost Rider, probably with max power. That's a fucking problem. Like, that guy is going to do whatever he wants. And, like, people like to talk about how fast Peter is. Like, Ghost Rider is fucking fast, too.
oh yeah.
Like, he's not as fast as Peter on a good day, but, like, they're very competitive at being the fastest characters in the game.
He'll be interesting to see. I'm glad. I'm happy that they're fixing characters, and you'll see some of these models on the table. I'm very interested to see if they work out.
Yeah, so I've talked with Parker about this. What do you think? They said they were going to look at the first 50 characters. What do you think that means? Have they clarified specifically where the cutoff is?
No, not
Because
that,
if we're
not
just
that I'm
counting
aware.
50 models, so it's the first 40 models that came out after the core set, and so, or is it like the first 40 or 20 box sets? Like, I'm just curious where the cutoff is.
I haven't
Because
heard.
if they're going to get into the X-Men era stuff, which is right about that line, I would assume basically they're going to end right where X-Men pick up. But because things released out of order, it's like, well, what are you counting as like coming out first? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I have no idea. I mean, I would say your line is exactly as you're basically saying. Like, I feel like X-Men is right there. It's got to be it.
But I feel like if anything needs an update more than the rest, it's X-Men. X-Men, like, I feel like there was a lot of misses in the X-Men stuff. Because, like, Storm is obviously just a one-trick pony. Her leadership is busted, and the rest of her is just okay. And then Scott is terrible. Like, one of the worst models in the game, probably, for his 4 points.
That'll be a tragedy if he doesn't get tweaked. Hopefully it lasts into that. Hopefully they do.
And maybe they'll keep going after the first 50, and like maybe they'll count that stuff as the first 50. I don't know how it's gonna go. All right, let's continue on. One thing that just did get posted, I believe today. Yeah, it was today on their Facebook page. They confirmed that the reason we don't have current release dates in the US is due to customs and shipping issues, and so we're literally just waiting. It's like the reason that other people have it is because the release dates have come and gone in other places, but the reason that we don't have the release dates in the US is because they have no idea when the product will actually arrive. But they've done their job. They're basically just waiting for the shipping process to resolve because it's all stuck in customs or on shipping containers and crap. And so that's why we're just stuck in limbo right now.
Yeah, it really is a weird limbo. I know that the other local store has players that have a lot of what's released or
Yeah.
released in other countries. Like they broke down and finally
Yeah.
just started going, getting Canadian
No,
stuff.
yeah.
or
From
whatever.
what I've heard, a lot of people are just ordering off eBay because you're just getting around customs that way.
I can see that. The thing is there's so much released. I mean, it's fine. We have so many models. There isn't even a real meta right now of this game. Like,
Yeah.
just play with what you got. It's okay. I mean, the new and shiny is always fun, but it's kind of nice to have a pause, to be honest.
Yeah. As long as you don't wait too long.
I really want Dormammu, to be honest. I love playing giant stompy things. So it
Yeah.
makes me mad that I can't have Dormammu right now, and I also can't have Hulkbuster. Both of those are neat, and I like my big shiny toys. Everything else I don't care.
Okay, we're going to transition now into currently playing.
Okay.
And I'm going to start this segment with, we're going to go to Warfare Weekend next week. So we have a little over a
Yay.
week to prepare for that. We need to actually start playing serious lists and not just rotating through the meta that we're born with. We haven't actually gotten ready for a tournament in so long that's I just thought about that today. I was like, oh yeah, I have no idea what I would play at Warfare Weekend. So we need to start looking at that. I think I'm gonna give Brotherhood a shot. I really enjoy playing Brotherhood. Or do you think I should play Cabal and just play my cheese dick list?
Well, I figured if you want to actually win, I would think you'd play Web Warriors. I mean, to me, they're by far your best faction.
You think so?
Yeah.
But I just like killing people so much. I
Yeah.
just want them to slowly pick up all their
Well,
models
you're in a
and
good
repeatedly
spot. You're in a
place
good
them on the
spot.
side.
I think people have gotten tired of Black Order, and I think the bringing the
Oh,
anti.
I'm not scared of Black Order with that Cabal.
No. I'm saying
Yeah.
people would bring anti Black Order tech, which would fuck with your tech. So
Mhm.
you're kind of safe right now. Like it's kind of the water's kind of clear for you. Jump in there.
Interesting. So yeah, let's do that tomorrow. You coming up to game tomorrow?
If I do, it'll be really late. I've got some shit going on.
Oh, okay. Well, if you do, let's play sweaty lists. Let's go hard.
Ugh.
Let's get some
Are you-
reps in.
Are you available Friday? I can play Friday. I'm off.
I am more than likely not available Friday.
Oh,
Sorry, I got stuff.
no good. No good. Saturday? Are you available Saturday?
Technically, yeah.
Maybe. Let's see.
I don't like playing games on the weekend that much because
Yeah.
once my weekends start getting cluttered up, it's like I have no time to do things that are not game. So
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. So we do need to put something together though, and actually, because I keep fucking around too.
yeah, we're intentionally playing softball lists for so much of the time. All right, so what have you been playing lately? I've been playing fucking Spider-Foe still.
Yeah.
The best faction in the game.
They're not bad.
They're
man.
undefeatable, Jeremy. They're undefeatable.
Yeah.
I literally don't think I've lost a game with that list. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Fucking Spider-Foe's just pulling shit out they have no business winning.
They've got legit models now. They're legit.
Yeah.
They've got some good cards.
I got Mr. Toilet Bowl himself just holding down flanks.
Are you playing him?
Lizard? Yeah.
Oh, Toilet Bowl. I thought you were talking
Who
about.
did you think I was
I
talking
thought you were
about?
talking about Mysterio.
Oh, no.
I was like, I didn't think you
Fishbowl,
played
man.
Mysterio Bowl.
No, it's because Lizard's coming up out of the toilet.
Gotcha.
He's like, surprise, you didn't flush!
Come out the crapper.
Yeah.
Huh. They're not, I mean, they're good. They're very hard to kill, and they will kill you back. They kill you just as good as you kill them, and they're a little bit tougher.
They're just the numbers war faction. It's my numbers are just bigger. They're Khador. They're literally Khador.
Yeah.
It's I will just slowly grind you into dust.
It's true.
Or at least the way I play them. You can play them kind of trappy and surprise tactics.
See, that plays almost the opposite of what I've been playing. I've been doing the X-Men with random drop-ins, whether it's Corvus and his girlfriend or Thanos and a gem.
Yeah. I think that's starting to age not great. There's a lot of mobility shit coming out nowadays.
There is. It plays really
Which
fast.
is just another reason X-Men's falling off a cliff. It's their one trick is gone.
I got to tell you, I kind of like what Parker's been doing with X-Force, though. I like that list.
Mhm.
But I haven't
Just run
practiced it,
downhill.
so who knows? I'll probably just play
Well,
X-Men.
What we talked about recently. Oh, that Parker was excited to talk about this, but I don't think we did it last time. Or maybe we touched on it. He's building a Inhumans list that is basically just Weapon X but reimagined. And the concept is basically just run downhill as fast as you can and get into a fight very early because they have rerolls that make their dice better than your dice, and they just want to shock tactic you because Black Bolt actually has amazing numbers. If you just look at the numbers and not at what it costs, it's actually very good.
Uh-huh.
And so the concept is, can we get him on a MODOK type role where he's just building power and immediately spending it over and over and over again? And then you have the dog to be your power generation to hand out power to everybody else. And then we were including characters that spend power really well, like Wolverine and stuff like that. It's like, okay, well, if Wolverine has 6 power, it's like you're in trouble. Like, he can kill you. So it's stuff like that. And then you don't play Crystal. You don't play... I think Quicksilver's in there. Ronan was in there because he likes Ronan, but I don't think it's a good drop. Stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm seeing a lot more people try to do the attrition wars. Because the attrition wars that I used to play were all super lists, where it's like I have 2 good characters, everybody else is just there for support. And it's just like I'm going to leverage them as hard as I can. And the new attrition wars are I'm going to have as many decent characters as you can have and just run at you.
Yeah. I think too, like using the big guys as an attrition and whatever, like back in the day, I don't think we understood priority like we understand it now.
Yeah.
That's a big deal too. So having
Yeah.
a 5-point
Well, it
leader
was-
that's a beater and a couple heavy 4-pointers, you're never going to lose priority either.
Yeah. That was just kind of like a happy accident. Like, we knew priority was good and we wanted to hold on priority, but we didn't understand how valuable having a 3-character list was at the time.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I just have priority and you need to shut up about it. Like, there's nothing you can do.
You know what? Maybe that's something I'll do for Warfare Weekend. That because I love playing that list. I love playing
The Super
Magneto and
Friends.
Thanos. Like Magneto and Thanos just feels so tasty. Like
Yeah.
just murdering the shit out of things.
You just got to not lose for 3 turns. That's all that matters.
Pretty
It's
much.
like, get to turn 4, you've won.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. But I've been playing the X-Men with the Thanos drop in, and again it burns really bright and hot and then fizzles at about turn 5. If I don't have the game won at turn 5, it's done. Like I can't hold on to anything more. X-Men just are not resilient. They just melt. They all just
Well,
melt.
it's like you don't have the same amount that everybody else has because all your characters are more expensive than they should be, it feels like.
Yeah. And the one that like if Storm has to get involved, there's a problem. And the thing is you
Yeah.
need all your characters involved. It's like just
Yeah.
throw somebody away and then back up. Throw someone away. Oh shit, they caught her.
Yeah,
She's dead.
I think the next wave of X-Men will really help that because we know Rogue's going to be good for her points. She's
Yeah.
going to be able to hold you into the game. We're assuming Colossus is going to be much of the same. And then Gambit looks pretty solid for a 3-pointer. So I think that will give them enough to play with, but it's just going to power creep the ones that are out now. Like, you're not going to see the same characters. You're never going to see Jean. You're never going to see Scott. You're never going to see characters like that. They're just like, man, this guy is expensive. You're like, yeah, I don't know why, though. Like, it's always going to be like, you're probably not going to see Wolverine. It's going to be like Domino, Storm, maybe, if there's not a better leader. And then, you know, the 2 new 4-pointers and the rest of them will just be the cheap ones. Like, you'll never see the 4-point X-Men or the 5-point X-Men.
Yeah. It's Thanos and Domino that I crutch on for every game, and they always win. So
Yeah.
without them, so it's like there's a better faction out there for it because you can plop those anywhere. Really?
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't know. They need another model or 2 to make that work out.
Yeah, and if I figure out what I'm playing at Warfare this week, I might actually take some time over the weekend and try and get it all painted.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right, so that's hobby projects. I might try and paint if I figure out what I'm playing.
Good job.
Are you working on anything right now? Probably not.
No,
You're
it's
caught up,
all
right?
I'm all caught up. Now,
You're done.
I did hear a crash in the back of my car the other day,
Uh-oh.
and then both my kids jumped up and they looked back and they're like, Kingpin's dead. I'm like, what? So one of the magnet shelves came unlocked and like fell out,
Mm.
which
You gotta be
wasn't.
careful with those because when you slide them in, sometimes the back magnet will break loose, but you won't know because
Yeah.
the magnet doesn't fall down. There's no visual reference that it's not glued on anymore.
Yeah. So
And
I had a
you've
shelf.
only got like one of the 3 magnets holding it in, and you're like, you just don't
Mhm.
know it.
Had a shelf run free and it dropped, and I had to glue a couple guys back together. It was no big deal though. It was fine.
Yeah. I've brought my stuff in like 3 separate times now to like do re-gluing of magnets and stuff, and I
Mhm.
just didn't. I was like, then 2 days later, I just put it back in my car. I'm like, why did I
Nope.
bring this in? So I
Nope.
was so lazy this weekend. All right. Now, Jeremy's favorite topic, Wild Speculation Corner.
Oh God, here we go.
No, I'm just kidding. My wild speculation is that we're gonna get more than 50 models update or 50 model lifespan updated. I think they're gonna go past that line, and it might have just been a rough estimate when they said that, but I think they're gonna touch more than the first 50. Not saying that every model's getting changed because we know that it's not, but more than like the first 50 released models are gonna get touched. I think they'll bleed into the mutants. All right. So moving on, today we are going to do our first version of a new segment, which we are tentatively calling the Double Tub Miracle Crisis Agreement.
Oh my god!
This is in reference to several weeks ago we talked about a fun thing that happened globally when Revenge of the Sith came out, and the final scene where Vader's finally in his suit. And he's in the room with the Emperor at the end of the movie, and he's like, where's Padme? And he's like, oh, you killed her in your rage. And he's like, no, the no scene. And basically what had happened is there was an American in I think it was China or Japan, he's somewhere in Asia, and he went to see the movie because he was just in Asia when it came out. And he went into a closed caption viewing because he assumed that the movie would be in Japanese. And so when he went in to sit down, they did not voice over the movie. In fact, it was still in English, but had Japanese subtitles. He's like, well, that's odd. And then as the movie starts, he realizes that it's in English captions and Japanese captions. And so the English captions are just below the Japanese captions. He's watching the movie, and because it's double translated and a lot of the like phrasing they use is non-standard, the way it gets double translated back and forth to English is very hilarious. And he said it was the best viewing of any movie he's ever seen. And so the final phrase where Vader screams no, the caption is "do not want." Like, and it's just all caps screaming. It's like, oh my god.
That's
and
perfect.
So that became the most popular version of Revenge of the Sith ever released.
That's the best version.
It is the best version because it's actually entertaining. But anyway, so this is inspired an all-new segment that we're going to do, and we're going to put our own little twist on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double translate a phrase, specifically an ability title.
Okay.
I'm going to double translate it, and then Jeremy is going to try and guess which character this ability belongs to.
Do not want.
I don't think you're going to get it.
Oh,
because
no.
you picked a character that has a fairly obscure ability title.
Oh my god.
All right. Here we go.
Okay, it.
We did not get to do the first one. The first one was too obvious.
Okay.
So this is the second character we did. The phrase is, "I will never have a chance again."
What the hell?
You're never gonna get this.
I can't even.
You gotta get. You get 3 guesses though. I'm gonna give you 3 guesses.
I never have a chance again.
I will never have a chance again.
Oh, is it Dominoes?
It is not Dominoes.
Oh, it's not about luck, huh?
It is not about luck.
Second chance. Something about a second chance or something, or second. Is it, did I pick Ultron? Is it like Ultron's weird, like his second life?
No, it's not Age of Ultron, because that's a tactics card. This is a character.
Oh.
That's your second guess.
Okay, so I'll say, Hela. Is it Hela's thing?
Is it Hela's thing? No.
Damn it!
It is in fact Punisher's ability. No more second chances.
Oh my god.
That was a good one. That was better than any of the translations I got. I tried Red Skull the first time, but all his abilities are like Cosmic Cube, Master of Evil. It's like 3 words.
Yeah,
it's like there's no translation. It's just you just translate the 2 fucking words.
Yeah.
The one though, Master of the Cube became I mastered the dice, and I was like, that would be fun, but I feel like it'd be really easy.
That's a good one. Mastered
so that
the
was
dice.
fun. And we got that by translating No More Second Chances from English to Japanese to back to English.
Perfect.
Yeah, so that was fun. I like that. Oh, boy.
Parker missed out. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Do
Well,
not
unfortunately, because
want-
Parker's not here, we don't want to go too much into stuff without him, so we're going to have a little bit of a short episode this week. Jeremy, is there anything else you wanted to talk about that's got you up in a roar about anything?
With all these changes they're having, I just wonder. We've talked about the randomness of missions or crisis and them mixing that up, and it doesn't make any sense. That kind of like sticks in my head. Like, I'm not sure why they took.
You were for this.
I know, but the
originally.
longer I think about it, and the more the changes
You're
they
like,
keep
yeah,
doing,
this isn't going to be that fun.
well, it just doesn't make sense. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Because it really doesn't.
I have never played in a game where leaving a decision completely up to random chance was ever a good thing.
I mean, I would even be more. Just take all your crises, throw them in a giant pile, then pull some. Like, I don't. Why?
If the missions were predetermined and on a month-long cycle where it's like, all right, this month these are the 3 missions everybody has to play, I would actually prefer that to
correct
this. And it's like, and just like evacuation effort, if there's a mission that's specifically causing problems, just ban it or restrict it and let's move on. Like, I feel like the amount of enjoyment that's going to be removed from the game by removing the mission selection part and letting you build lists that are at least semi-skewed towards playing on certain missions is like that's kind of the point of the game. And obviously, as more missions come out, this will become less relevant. But specifically, the thing is that's countered is people who try and do dual affiliation lists or dual strategy lists, where it's like, okay, well, the only thing I'm trying to do is not, abuse Mayor Fist. That's not all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to also, I built a Guardians Go Wide list where I want to have a 5 secure mission, and so I wanted to play this mission, but you can't because, that's determined at random. It's like, oh, okay, I kind of wanted to play this, but whatever.
I feel like it's always going to be the same choice. I mean, right? Wouldn't you just do that? Because if it's random, wouldn't you just take all, Bs or take all
Yeah, but so I think that what's trying to stop is like, well, I built a list that's on Gamma Wave is very oppressive. All right, well, instead of you getting to pick Gamma Wave 2/3 of the time, you get to pick Gamma Wave 1/3 of the time.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
What?
But 1/3 of the time, you still make your opponent have a terrible time. So why don't you just get rid of Gamma Wave if Gamma Wave is the problem?
Mm-hmm.
And not saying that Gamma Wave is, just as an example. But
yeah, I don't know. The fact that they were all different in different ways was helpful in so many different situations.
Yeah.
Like,
remember when we built our list on the podcast? It was like episode 17. We built our tournament list.
mm-hmm.
And it was like Wakandans and Web Warriors. We spent an hour talking about which missions we wanted to pick. And it went combination because, against some people, we might want to play Wakanda. And against some people, we might want to play Web Warriors. And so these are the missions Wakanda wants to use. And these are the missions Web Warriors want to use. And so we specifically talked about, it's like, well, if you're playing Web Warriors and you want to play Web Warriors in this matchup, pick red, because 2 of the 3 red missions are good for Web Warriors, and only 1 of the red missions is good for Wakandans. And then reverse, because Wakandans tend to favor secures, and so we put 2 of the missions in for Wakanda to have secures, and only 1 of them for Web Warriors. And so we did that specifically because of the way the mission thing worked out. Now, though, you'd be like, well, Web Warriors and Wakandans would be okay, but I want to play Cabal and Web Warriors. Like, no, you can't. Your missions will fuck you. It's not a legitimate strategy because 1/3 of the time your decision is completely locked out for you. Sorry, 100% of the time the decision is made for you.
Yeah, it's weird they took that element out. It just doesn't feel like it fits with everything else. I love all the other changes. This one just doesn't feel like it fits right.
It feels lazy. Like they didn't know how to fix it, and so they just didn't try, is almost what it feels like.
Yeah.
It's like when you give up and you're like, fuck it, just scrap it. Just no one gets pick missions. I'm tired of this. Like, that's what it feels like. And not saying that they're not putting in effort. Obviously, they put a lot of work into this game, and I respect the effort that they do put in. But this change specifically, where you're not going to get to pick the missions, I do not like.
Huh. Yeah.
It makes me a little sad because I feel like a lot of some of the strategy in the game is gone. And yeah, some people might have been abusing it to an excessive degree, so it probably needed to be changed. But changing it in this way, I think, is going to create an overall larger negative than that small group of the community that was abusing the missions.
Yeah. I mean,
it feels a lot like the table markers issue.
It seems like it's going to go to
1% of the community is causing issues, and the ones that are causing issues are actually breaking the rules. We're going to ignore that point. They're not following the rules, and that is causing issues. So we're going to enforce a new rule that everyone has to go by that is excessively restrictive and makes the game less fun to play, to stop the people that are messing up the game. It's like, how about you just tell them to stop messing up the game and close the loophole and just get rid of it? It's like, just get rid of the missions that are abused and move on. And over time, if you think that they're not that bad, then unrestrict them or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, hey, if those people don't get to play restricted tactics cards because they have to spend all their restricted cards on mission selection, I don't care. That's fine. Let's go. Like, let's play a game.
Yeah. I just really hate, in my mind, one of the only ways to deal with some of the big characters that I hate is play a low point mission. Like, you're like, cool, I can deal with that. Now there isn't. You're not going to be able to do that anymore. Like, that's just
Yeah.
not a guarantee.
Well, it's just going to mean that I think you're going to, instead of seeing people play a lot of different types of missions, it's like, oh, well, I'll never be locked into it. So it's okay to put in alien ship. It's okay to put in research station. It's like now it's like you can't have research station
No.
in any list that has Quicksilver in it. Gone, done, no more. Because the entire point of his like character in most rosters is to steal and extract. So you would never ever ever play that. And if you're doing a fucking like objective stealing mission or list where it's like I've got Black Cat, I've got Miles, I've got Quicksilver, and I'm just gonna steal all the extracts, and your opponent randomly flips over research station attack, there's no pickup extracts in this mission, you're like, well, I guess we're done. Like I lose. And there was no decision was made to make that happen. You just got fucked. It's very annoying.
Yeah. I mean, your opponent could already select that if they wanted to bone
They
you.
could, but now we're talking about a tactical decision your opponent made.
Yeah. Correct.
Not you're screwed, sorry, game fucked you. Like, okay.
It's weird.
But that means you could also never include that in your list.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I say, it just sits weird. I think it sits funny, and it doesn't make sense. It doesn't feel good with what they did.
I think all you're going to see happen is people are going to play the very basic identical missions. Where it's like, oh, this one's scrolls, this one's alien ship, this one's blah. Or you'll see everyone play always the same point total. Because they don't want to get locked into a weird point total. Yeah, I don't know. It's annoying, and I know we've kind of beaten this to death, but I think it's a bad change, and so I want to make sure my opinion is out there before it becomes official, and maybe they will agree with us and change it, or maybe change it to something new that we haven't seen yet, which would be cool.
Yeah. I like...
And I know...
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I would say, I really like the idea of doing the, each month is the 3 you're supposed to use, and this is what you do for tournaments or whatever. Like, that would be cool.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't mind them saying, like, okay, like, we're just going to go on a rotating ban list of, like, these 3 to 5 missions are banned every month, just to force people to shake it up. That'd be fine. I think that'd actually be fun, because it'd keep it rotating and fresh all the time. And if somebody, like, doesn't play that often and doesn't want to follow that list, obviously, whatever, who cares? You could play with your friends. But what I was going to say was, because the meta is still so fractured and there's so many players not interacting outside of their local store, that you don't see people traveling for events right now, really. There's no big tournaments really going on. And so we don't see these lists either held in check or run rampant. We don't see if the meta adjusts for it. And so I'm worried that this is an overreaction. Much like the Ghost Rider thing. It's like, well, did they just get feedback from 5 people and 4 of them said it was an issue, or 3 of them said it was an issue, but there's only 10 people that think it's a problem worldwide? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what's going on. Yeah. It's so hard to tell anything because it's so fractured. It's like, how many people are not having this problem? How many people are having the problem? I don't know.
That, and are they going to, like, unrestrict panic? Like... Or is there going to be more of them?
You would have to think so, right?
I mean,
like, why would there be one restricted mission when it's not even the most abusable?
Yeah.
Like, if escort to safety is restricted, then 100% legacy cure needs to be restricted. 100%. That mission is way worse.
Yeah.
Tell you what, though, research station attacked is definitely going in my new Cabal list.
Oh my god.
That's going to be such a fun mission.
Everybody come.
Like, hey, let's just come stand in the middle, everybody.
Come close to me. Everyone get near me.
Yeah. I haven't gotten to play Gamma Wave Research Station yet. Oh, man. That's going to be a spicy one.
Oh, Jesus. That's a blowout. Like, that's a win on turn 2.5.
It's like, yeah, what did you bring? Sorry, you lose. Like just sorry. It's game over. Oh, man. So, who do you think that's gotten the changes has the biggest change so far?
Biggest change so far? I think Star-Lord is going to have the biggest impact. I think that's the most important thing that's happened so far.
So, but from where they used to be to the new version, the biggest difference in potency.
So we're gonna.
I think Star-Lord is a noticeable increase, but I don't think he's that. It's basically two changes on.
So
him.
remind me which models have changed. I'm sitting here blanking.
So
right
we
now.
have Captain America, Shuri, Hulk, Ultron. There was one more on the stream, I want to say. Iron Man. And then we had the girls, so Enchantress, Angela, and Medusa. Then we had Green Goblin and Ghost Rider. I think that's it. Oh, MODOK.
Right. I think the answer is Hulk. Hulk's abilities
That's a big change.
Went crazy. Like, his ability to gain power on his attack has changed the game. Like, that card just... All they had to do was that, and everybody would be like, oh, here we go. He's fine.
Yeah, no, that was more. Incredibly impactful. So yeah, Hulk definitely got the biggest change, I think. Next up is probably... Actually, let's just do this. I'll just make a list. Hulk, Cap, Shuri. Let's do this. Let's rate the changes we have so far. That could be fun. Gamora. I guess we didn't talk about the Guardians, but Groot, Rocket. Am I missing somebody? All right, so I have Iron Man. That's the one I'm missing. I always forget Iron Man. He's not.
Everybody does.
Okay, so we have Hulk, Iron Man, Cap, Ultron, Shuri, Star-Lord, Gamora, Rocket, Groot, Ultron. I said Ultron twice. Valkyrie, Medusa, Enchantress, and now Green Goblin and Ghost Rider. I think that's everybody that's been changed or has been announced. So we're doing Hulk at number 1. I think that's a solid choice. All right, so who is number 2?
Well, I think you like Ghost Rider, right? He's pretty strong.
Ghost Rider's a pretty big change. Ultron's a big change too. I forgot about him.
Ultron's pretty strong.
I think Groot's a lateral change. Rocket is a pretty good upgrade. But are we talking about just because obviously some of them got nerfed?
I kind of feel like a better way to rate this is:
do we like the changes?
If they did a good job, it's an A.
Yeah.
If it's okay, B, C. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's a better way to rate this type of thing.
So you don't want to do like a rank top to bottom. You want to do this got a whatever grade.
Yeah, like a perfect, like they did exactly everything right. This character's number 1 now, like best.
Okay.
Like
All right, so starting from the top list, Hulk got an A.
Correct.
Cap gets what?
Cap got what he needed, right? Like he's a B plus. A.
The shield throw is a big deal. I like that he can push size 3, but it's pretty much irrelevant.
Yeah.
I don't think Cap was particularly underpowered, but he was starting to show his age. I'm gonna give him a B because I think. All right, let's do numbers. We don't do letters here. We do numbers. So Hulk gets a 10.
Okay.
I'm going to give Cap a 7.
Okay.
Because I think he could have gone... He was right on line with going without a change. And I don't like power creep. Because I think, much like we talked about with the Ghost Rider changes, all that's doing is pushing other 4-point leaders down. Because he was already considered a reasonable choice in the game, right?
So, remind me again, he got a change on his shield, right?
His shield throw is +1 attack die and generates a power on throw.
Yeah.
Still has ricochet. And then his punch pushes on a wild up to size 3. It was changed up to a size 3. And then his shield slam can now throw up to size 3.
Okay.
I don't think any of his changes were particularly bad. I mean, what's your opinion? What would you give him out of a 10? The only reason I'm saying he shouldn't get like a maximum score is because... I don't think he needed that many buffs. I think he was already good. And so by making him that much better, you're just devaluing other 4-point leaders. because anyone who can get into an Avengers list will now try and get into an Avengers list, because it's basically shrinking the meta, if that makes sense. It's power creeping everybody else. Now, considering that a lot of the other leaders have been getting buffs as well, that might come to end up being a bad statement. So I'm willing to come up off of a 7. I'm just saying that's my opening bid.
Well, if
what do you think?
Hulk gets a 10 because he's now phenomenal and was a certain way.
Yeah.
I feel like Cap, like, he now can fight a little better, right?
Really
like
say is his shield throw shouldn't do 5 dice. That's kind of what I'm saying. Like that was probably a bit too much.
Well, I mean, he's a 4-point. Yeah, I'm fine with it. I think these changes are absolutely fine. I'm still not picking that model up and using him for the same exact reasons as I never did. He doesn't do the things I like. That's fine.
So what's your number?
A 7.
Just give me a
number. I don't care.
7. All right, whatever. Iron Man.
What did he get?
Iron Man got -1 power cost on his
Friday
AI.
Oh.
Is that the only change? It was not a lot. It was very subtle.
Yeah, they just gave him Friday so he can do all this stuff cheaper.
Push 4 dice. Yep, that was it. I'm gonna give this a 9. I think this was a very good change. Not because, first of all, Iron Man was underpowered, so good choice of model to buff. And B, they buffed him in such a subtle way that it doesn't feel like a heavy-handed change like some models felt like. But the change dramatically increases his quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
So I like this change very much.
Yep, it fits perfectly with Captain America and his Avengers and the tactics cards that work out. Like, just having Friday AI live all the time makes him amazing. He's so good.
Yeah.
I'm up there with an 8 or a 9, so 9's fine.
Okay. I'm going to leave it at a 9 then. Shuri. This gets a 1. Absolute trash. This is the worst update by far.
It's just she only got the change to the push, right? That's it.
They might have changed something else on her card, but yeah, basically
gave her the ability to remove a model from the game by just pointing at it.
2. It's more than 1. That's the stupid shit. Her upgrades was clarified on the timing step. Other than that, she's unchanged. Yeah. It was
garbage.
They cleaned up some timing, but the actual balance changes. She can only push size 3. It should be size 2, or it should only be pushed on a wild and only size 2. Like, it's fucking stupid. Nobody looks at this card and thinks it's okay. Stop artificially buffing characters.
Yeah.
This should just be impact webbing. Why isn't it impact webbing? It's a better damage type. It's longer range. It rolls more dice. It fucking auto-generates power like impact webbing does. But it caps at 1 damage. Sure, that's an argument to be worse, but whatever. Range 5 energy is so much better than range 4 physical. And then also she can push any size where impact webbing is limited to 2. Oh, and by the way, impact webbing also requires a wild to push. What the shit? Who balanced this character? If she didn't have this attack, she'd still be good. Like, she's fucking crazy.
She can't roll her own dice. Come on now.
Yeah, she cannot reroll her own dice. She only rerolls everyone's dice within range 4.
Yeah, she's ridiculous. But no, that was completely.
She gets power worthless when she rolls skulls, but conveniently, the lowest attack roll she can generate involves 6 dice. As a 3-point model, she has a 7 dice spender. Name the 3-point models with 7 dice spenders real quick. I'll help you. Shuri is the list. Go fuck yourself. This is dumb. Makes no sense to the human mind.
7 dice spender. She does. I've been hit by it. It's a good one.
7 dice spender. That staggers. Are you fucking kidding me? It auto stuns and can stagger on a wild with 7 dice. Who the fuck thought this was okay?
Dude, they're Panther gauntlets, man.
I will stab you in real life. There's no justification for this. This was your chance to take it back. And you admitted fault by saying that she's getting a nerf. But then you fucking, usurped yourself by giving her the minorest of nerf of all time. Let's name the characters she can't push real quick. I'll help you. Black Dwarf, Hulk.
MODOK.
Dumami.
That's
true. Models not in game, I guess, count. but they're not currently released. So that's the record. It stops 3 fucking characters, right? Am I missing somebody? They changed a character's card to stop the interaction with 3 characters, one of which is literally unplayable currently, one of which is never played, and the third of which was already going to ignore what the fuck she was doing anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fucking stupid. All right, this gets a 1. 1 out of 10. You could not have done worse on this update unless you had... Literally, the only thing they could have done worse is not fix the timing issue. That's the only thing they could have done worse. But technically, fixing the timing issue is a buff for Shuri. So they actually made her better now than she was before the nerf.
I mean...
Because you get perfect knowledge on your rerolls. She's actually better now than before the card update. This is fucking stupid.
They could have made her 2
I
points.
cannot defend this in any way. The devs fucked up on this one. Like, guys, I'm sorry. I'm throwing you under the bus.
They're like,
I'm
shame
building
on
this
you,
garbage
sir.
chute
Shame
that
on you.
exits directly in front of bus tires. Like, get out of here. No one thinks this is a good idea.
That's why you gotta go to Warfare Weekend so we can tell him to his face.
Is he gonna be there? Oh man, they're not gonna
Probably.
like me. They are gonna not like me. Making enemies. News 11.
Good.
All right, next up, we have Star-Lord, Peter Quilson. Changes on Star-Lord are the following. Winging It has completely changed. Well, not completely. It's mostly changed.
It's good.
No longer requires you to discard a tactics card. Happens in the power phase instead of at the start of your turn. You still hand out 3 Winging It tokens, but they must be placed on different characters. Other than that, it's the same. Still spend 1 to reroll 2 dice. They're all removed at the end of the round. He also picks up Hit and Run. End of list.
I love it. I love it.
This is a good change. Very solid, good change. There's not a lot to complain about here, unlike our least favorite character of all time, known as the Shuri. I feel like they could have done better, but they certainly didn't miss. So this is good. I'd like to start the bidding with an 8. What do you think?
I think as a leader in all that business, what they've done, I really like what they did. I'll give it a 10 from where they were.
His leadership change is great. What I would have liked to have seen is some kind of like Miles-esque placement effect instead of Hit and Run. So I feel like Hit and Run is like okay, but seeing some kind of like, rocket boots mechanic built into his character where he has like a reflect, like they could give him like Catch Me If You Can or something like off of Quicksilver where he gets to move away when somebody targets him. Because he's always getting out of attacks with his boots or something. Like, I feel like that could have been better than Hit and Run. Hit and Run's kind of boring. And I don't know that it really represents him as a character. So I think it's good, but it's not. They could have done better. It's like there was more potential. As we're like Hulk, they fucking nailed it. Like they addressed every point, and it feels good.
All right, you talk me down. I'll go to a 9. You get a 9.
9 it is. Gamora. Let's see, Gamora. So I'm just confirming the changes on Gamora are as follows: +1 hit point on both sides. Stealth.
I believe that's it.
Yep, that's it. Okay. D-. This does not even get her close to potentially playable, in my opinion. I haven't put her on the table yet, but I never thought stealth was the answer, and 2 hit points in their defense is a long way towards fixing her, but she should have had, like, honestly, like, giving her damage reduction would have helped a lot instead of the extra hit points.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is to her, but she's swimming in the land of 4-point models. You've got to be exceptional to win that prize. And I just don't see her. She doesn't feel great. I don't think a D-. As an upgrade goes, for a model that needed something to do a job, she went from not being able to do it to doing the job. I just don't know it's something cared. I don't know.
What is the percentage increase of you playing Gamora? It went from 0 to what? 10? 5?
14.
2? 14%?
14% more.
14% of lists are going to include Gamora?
14% more lists of my lists playing Guardians will include a Gamora.
Playing Guardians. Specifically Guardians, huh?
Yes.
I don't see it. You know she's in A-Force, right? Like, she's never going to get played. She is never going to get played.
Maybe
what does she do that other people don't do? You would play Black Panther out of affiliation instead of Gamora.
Oh, by far.
Not even close. It's not even close.
By far.
Yeah, this is a 3. Like, yeah, you tried. They put effort in on this one. It's still pretty phoned in, but they at least tried. The Shuri one was, oops. Like, it's like, did you just Xerox your best friend's homework and you white out their name and write your name over it? That was the Shuri change. This was you at least rewrote it by hand. Like, that's the level of increase in effort. Like they at least tried. Like, you put in some work. The hit points was a nice touch. Stealth is a joke. I do not respect stealth at all. She doesn't. If she was a range character, then we're talking. But like her job, she literally throws herself at the enemy, and you thought stealth was going to fix the model. I don't understand.
It's not my favorite. I mean, I'm in there with a 3. I don't care.
All right, moving on with a 3. Groot.
Ooh, Groot.
Groot's interesting because Groot technically is worse now than he was, but it functions better because the heal infinite times was broken. Like, I don't think they ever intended it to be that strong, and that was really a negative play experience that has been removed from the game. On the plus side, they've increased his basic range attack to range 3, which is a huge quality of life improvement. And now the character is no longer a meme. It doesn't just go, oh, you did 6 damage to Groot. You must feel so bad right now because I'm just going to heal to full and slap you. It's like, now it's like, oh, okay. Now we know the rules. He's going to heal 3 damage a turn. So don't go in unless you're willing to commit some serious damage. And he's going to attack you more often. That seems like a fair trade. I like this change. It's less gimmicky, more quality. I'll give this a 7. I'm going to open with a 7.
I mean, 3-point model with so many hit points that can heal and also has a range 3 attack. Like, he got legit. Like, he's fine.
None of that changed. The only thing that changed was the range 3 attack.
Range 3
and
though.
Healing.
He's trying to hang out. I mean, range 3 is a big deal for him. Like, that's twice as far.
The problem you run into is because he still has to stand in specific locations. Mm-hmm. So it's not like he can just hang out in the middle of nowhere and attack people at range 3. He's still going to be like on a point or next to Rocket.
Yeah.
But yeah. He's still very immobile, which is good. He's supposed to be immobile. But he's no longer punished for, like, it's no longer exploitable, if that makes sense. You can't just stand at range 3 and shoot him with pistols and laugh at him.
Yeah.
Like, now he hits you back.
Yeah, so what did you put him at?
7. It's good change.
I'm good with 7. It's fine. 7's good.
And then his good furry buddy, Mr. Rocket L. Raccoon. Oh boy. This is the next worst model that they've changed.
Yeah.
Why the fuck is he immune to collisions? Who thought this was okay? This is fucking intern Danny again, just writing shit on cards and nobody stopped him. Like, nobody caught it.
You know what? It reminds me of when Mark 1 War Machine, when Souls created Crix. And you're like, really?
What if they just don't suffer negative things that other people do? Yeah.
Scourge is real? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I am totally on board with Groot getting thrown into Rocket is not the way the game is supposed to work, right? I'm totally on board with that.
Agree.
The fix should have been under personal bodyguard, allied Groots cannot, or he does not suffer collision damage from allied Groots is what it should say.
Yep.
That's what it should say. Nimble is fucking dumb. It makes no sense. Why is randomly Rocket is immune to Hulk throws? That is beyond me. Why is he immune to Pounce from Black Panther? That doesn't make sense. It literally makes no sense. I do not like this change. I do really like Personal Bodyguard going up to range 2. It makes it consistent with other rules in the game and is a big quality of life improvement that needed to happen. That was great. But Nimble is worse. Him getting Nimble is worse. It takes this whole thing to a negative.
Yep, it doesn't make any sense. But as upgrades go, it was a hell of an upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, he's better. Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
but we're not rating better. We're rating, like, how good was the change.
Yeah.
I give this a 3, probably. I want to give it a 2, but I'm going to be nice and say 3 because I like Personal Bodyguard.
That's going to throw it to me into a 5. I think it could have been awesome, but I don't think they hit the mark with the...
If they had changed, if Nimble had just been rolled into Personal Bodyguard and he just couldn't be damaged on throws from Groot, I would have given this a 9.
That's what I'm saying. That's where it lands to me in the 5. I think it
Nimble, this is such a bad precedent for the game. is just random character gaining immunity to 1/3 of the damage in the game. That's or 1/4 of the damage in the game. That's fucking dumb. Like, that makes no sense. The next character comes out is going to be immune to physical damage. Like, whatever, who cares? Like this is how shit gets out of hand. Like, stuff like this can't happen.
Mm-hmm.
He's already fucking insane for his stat line.
Oh yeah.
Like 2/2/3 with 3 hit points is supposed to die, but he has permanent cover that ignores all logic. Like, okay, I understand that you're small, but like, I'm stabbing you with a dagger. Cover, like, how does that make sense? Like, I'm literally right here. His cover should be normal cover, like outside of range too. Why is he take less damage than other characters?
Mm-hmm.
If you want a character not be easy to kill, don't give them shitty stats. Don't give them shitty stats, then give them rules that make them immune to half the damage in the game. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, you're just retracting what you did.
That is really odd.
That's like saying Wong can't be damaged by Mystic. It's like, well, why? It's like, well, he's a wizard. Yeah, I get that, but that doesn't make sense. I don't know. I feel like they have doubled down on this character in a really bad way.
They like him. He needs to live.
I do not want to give this more than a 3. It's really annoying to me that this happened. Not to mention the amount of times that problems are going to come up with this because of people that played before Rocket got this, or just people that haven't played Rocket before. How many times do you like throw somebody and you just go, okay, well, the throw resolves, and you just pick them up and move them into the other character because it's obvious where you're going, and they go, okay, well, I'm immune to collisions. And you're like, oh, well, I'm not going to throw him there. It's like, well, you've already moved the model, so, like, the angle's destroyed now. Like, irreparable game state. You've thrown the model into a model immune to collisions. Well, no one else is immune to collisions. This isn't a rule in the game. Sorry. Like,
Casanova.
Okay, I guess fuck me. Like, they removed one negative play experience off of Groot and just put a worse one on Rocket. Like, I'm so annoyed.
I know you're mad at him.
What's your number?
I told you my number 5.
Why is it a 5? Just tell me why.
I told you why. They're good changes, and they fucked it up. It should be a 9, but then they fucked it up, so it drops it to a 5. They had the right idea.
All right, so we average out to a 4, and I no longer respect your opinion. All right, moving on.
I don't respect yours anyway. It's fine.
Ultron is next.
Oof.
All right, so changes on Ultron. His strike is no longer a placeholder attack. It is an actual attack that does 6 dice, which is pretty cool. So he's basically Gamora. He has Gamora's. He's better than Gamora. I take that back because he's 4/3/4 on defense with 6 health, and he has a 6 dice strike. So he's literally better than Gamora already.
4-point model, 6 dice strike.
He's also on a medium base, which is cool. Energy Blast is still pretty good. It's 5 dice. It now has Incinerate on a wild. Metallic Fury is unchanged. Kinetic Field Generator can now throw up to size 4 terrain, which is pretty awesome. All Will Be Metal is unchanged. Analyze Annihilate has been completely reworked. Is now a passive before resolving your criticals. This character may reroll one of its dice for each critical in the defense roll. It's pretty sweet because you can potentially generate more criticals. For the first time, there's an ability that generates more criticals by rolling dice after you've rolled your dice. And he is still immune to poison and bleed.
Very good changes.
Pretty solid, yeah. There was probably something else they could have done on here, but this overall feels great. I would have liked to see damage reduction since he's basically an Ultron suit. Not Ultron suit, Iron Man suit at this point in the fluff. So seeing maybe less hit points but damage reduction, or like less defensive rules but damage reduction would have been cool. But overall, very good. I'd like to say a 9.
Good with a 9.
9 it is.
Very,
Moving on
good.
to Valkyrie, which, oh boy, was the internet aflame with this girl.
Their crutch was taken away.
I know, right? Oh, I don't know what to do. You can't just press the Valkyrie button anymore.
Exactly.
Tell you what, though, you know what not having a 2-point or 3-point throw model will do now? It's going to bring Shuri back into the meta.
Nice.
Don't worry, though. She just got buffed. Good timing. Fuck me. So, stat line's unchanged. Strike unchanged. Dragon Fang now requires you to roll a critical and a wild to trigger the flurry, which is a very good change, I think. This was one of the best attacks in the game on a 3-point model.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very hard to look past this ability. Also automatically bleeds, which I totally forgot it did. Did you remember that? It never matters because she always kills people with it. She bleeds people when she hits them with Dragon Fang. I've never seen that bleed put out. Like, it never happens. Asgardian Might got nerfed. It now costs 3 power. Charge unchanged. Warrior of Legend unchanged. Asgardian unchanged. People are going to freak out about this, but really when we're coming down to it, her flurry happens less often, probably about 50% as often. But it was already like, if you hit the flurry, you win. And if you miss it, you kind of lose anyway. So it's like, just making it require a critical means that they won't be spamming Dragon Fang as much. And then Asgardian Might is fairly costed at 3. I think this is a pretty solid change overall. 7 or 8 probably, I'm feeling. What do you think? I think this is a good nerf because it keeps her relevant, and it's not like soul crushing. Like, this just feels like they brought her in line with the rest of the 3-pointers. She's still going to see a lot of play.
Sure. I think these changes are great. It's an 8 or a 9. I'm fine with that.
I'll give it an 8. Medusa is up next.
Haha. She's getting hers.
I never remember how to spell Medusa. It's like, is it M-U, M-A, M-R, M-Y? I don't know.
Hair.
Oh boy, this is a slow loader. All right, Medusa, her stat line, I believe, is unchanged. Still 3s, 6, 4, 2, and medium. Braid Bash, new rules. It pushes only up to size 3. I think that was normal. And then it only flurries on critical and wild. Got the same Valkyrie treatment. Did it always push before?
Yeah.
So it's only on a wild now. Split ends, AoE 2, 7 dice, bleed on a wild. I'm pretty sure that's the same. Was it size 3 restricted before?
I don't know. Probably. I don't remember.
Was. All right, let me pull it up on both. Old card, new card. Medusalith Amaquelin Boltagon. Oh my god. So it was restricted to size 3 or less before. So good to know. Moving on, Hair Flip is unchanged, it appears. Yep, unchanged. Royal Decree also appears unchanged. Inhuman, same. Living Strands appears unchanged. Still immunity to poison. So yeah, it's just her 2 attacks, or her 1 attack, really. The other one didn't change. So just Braid Bash got nerfed. That seems fair. Flurry now requires the critical, and the push requires a wild. Oh, but no longer needs to deal... Oh, yeah. No longer needs to deal damage, though. So they changed it from damage causing to wild, which is less common. So that's good. So it's not a huge nerf, actually.
It pulls her out of, like, the guaranteed beaters, because that's what she was. You just roll the dice, you get your flurry, you attack again.
Yeah.
I mean, she's an inhuman.
I've heard that, but I've never really seen her played more than once.
Mm-hmm. She's pretty
good.
good.
Sure there's people that liked her and people that had great success with her. It just, I never saw it. And I think she's a dumb character from a logistical standpoint. Like, this is done in a lot of, like, mythoses and things, and I just think it's really dumb. It's like, oh, my hair is animated and attacks you. I'm like, that's fucking stupid. Like I don't care. So what do you think? What's this change rated for you? I have very little opinion on this. Anytime you rein in outliers is good for me, and I don't know. She did a lot of stuff for 4 points. I will say that.
Where she was, I mean, she was definitely one of those models, just like we'll talk about Enchantress in a second, that was splashed into a lot of lists just because of the amount of damage and stuff she could do. Now she's probably just going to exist in Inhumans because she's just not going to be the beater. And
yeah,
I think it's like a 7 probably for changes.
7 on a good scale.
Yeah. The thing is with models like her, all you got. Are they going to get rid of that or not? So if they get rid of that, then you're just not going to see Medusa like you did.
Okay. So I'm fine with 7. That seems good. Oh boy, next up, ye old Enchantress lady.
Get her.
I had to look up old Medusa's card because I could not fucking remember what she did. Okay, here we go. 225, 6 health, 4 points, size 2, speed, medium. We have Spurned Affection, same as it's always been. Enthrall, same as it's always been. And now getting into the new ones. Amorous Kiss still costs 3. However, gain the keyword action.
Perfect.
We figured it out, guys. Don't let them do it for free. This needs to be on all the Steelers. Stealing objectives is such a big fucking deal. You should not be able to double move and fucking manipulate your opponent's model and then steal it. Like, it's basically 3 moves happens before she has to take it from you. And it only costs 5 power. And don't worry, she gets 2 a turn. Like, it's so dumb.
Yeah.
Hell Hath No Fury. Believe it's unchanged. Yeah, that looks the same. Siren's Call is now restricted to once per turn only. And everything else is the same. So, we addressed her bowing multiple people, and we addressed her stealing objectives. I think this actually puts her back into the field, because she was such an outlier due to those 2 abilities. And she's a decent attrition model, because she has a beam and a mind control, so she can abuse it. Like, she can line up a lot of good beams for herself, but she doesn't hit super hard. She doesn't have any dice mods or anything. She still has the mind control. She can still take objectives. She just doesn't do it as aggressively. What's your opinion? Do you think she's just been dumpstered?
I think that no. I she's a 4-point model that does everything you want out of a model still, right? Like,
whoa. I want my models to throw magnetic constructs at my opponent.
She does that.
Oh, okay. Then
she can throw your magnetic construct.
She can literally throw magnetic constructs.
She literally
can. All right, I'm in. You got me. You had me at throw metallic constructs.
When it comes to changes, this is a 10 to me. They did exactly what they needed to do to this model to bring it back where it needed to be. She was well out of control.
I'm fine with this. I think 10 is a solid opinion to have on this one. Do you know what this model inspires in me when I see this change?
What?
A burning, raging hatred of Shuri. Because how the fuck did she escape?
I know.
It doesn't make sense! Alright, moving on to Green Goblin. Alright, so Green Goblin, I pushed back on this guy a lot when we first got the spoiler. Because, A, I didn't think he was that underpowered, and I didn't want to see a huge amount of models getting updated. And I actually started coming around on it. And I was like, you know what? 5 dice on Pumpkin Bomb seems fair. That seems fine. They needed to update the timing on his reroll just in case, whatever. And then the leadership not costing power anymore. And I was like, you know what? Leadership's costing power is kind of silly. And I was like, okay. Then I played about 10 games with Spider Foes. Nope. This guy's good as is. This is going to be crazy when this guy hits the board. I've been playing, just for clarity, we don't play spoilers. We play rules. When it's official, we play it. And so I've been playing Green Goblin as printed, and that guy is not bad. That guy is fine. And he's just like out attritioning people. And like, I'm not even trying that hard on scenario. Like, they're just out bully you eventually and just grind through your list. And he's doing that with a 4 dice attack and a 1 power cost leadership. And so when this goes live, this is going to be crazy. Rerolling people's defense dice is nuts. I don't think people realize that. It does so much extra damage. You might as well just put an extra 2 attack dice on on any attack you use this ability. It's that average of difference in damage.
So a couple things happen for your Spider Foes.
I'm going to fight you to death.
They fight you to death, yeah. The other thing is that Carnage came out. Without Carnage, your list doesn't work. I don't think at all.
That's not true.
I don't think it works.
That's not true. But I know the reason it's not true is because I have a whole like selection of people I want to put in, but I can't because Carnage is in there. like man, I want to try this with Black Dwarf. What if I had Black Dwarf in here? And I'm like, this would be insane. And then I was like, but I want to play Carnage because Carnage is cool. But there's a lot of games where Carnage does nothing.
Well, that aside,
yeah.
His changes are phenomenal. They're good, right? Like, that's all good. Everything he got was good. I don't think he's too good. I think he's really good.
He's not crazy. Like, he's not going to go breaking anything, but man, they're going to be an aggressive faction once Green Goblin gets adjusted.
And what a kick in the nuts it is to have one of your dice re-rolled. It's like,
man, dude,
it's so nasty.
People don't think about how many times they block one, and then when you start re-rolling that one, and how many times you basically just blank out.
Yeah,
because they get to see the dice first. Like, there's always going to be that like 2 or 3 attacks a turn where it just doesn't matter because the attack dice didn't work out. But it gets you so close to those attacks where it's like, I just need an attack that rolls a little hot, and they just die. Like, it's like, okay, well, when I'm not just doing a little hot, I'm actually canceling out your defense too, and so you're hitting like 2 more points of damage than you should on like half your attacks. Oh man, it adds up real fast. Okay, so I think I'm gonna put this at an 8 because I think it's too much. I think one thing in here was probably a bit extra. But so I'm saying basically the adjustment was too good. I think he's going to be up there with like Ghost Rider, I think. Like, you're going to see a lot of Green Goblin real soon.
I think Ghost Rider will be in other factions. I don't think you'll see. You won't see Green Goblin anywhere except Spider.
Well, I don't think you'll see Green Goblin. Yeah, it's definitely the leadership is what puts him over the line. But I think you're going to see other characters that would not normally be in Spider Foes that are just going to start shredding people.
Oh,
you'll see people
for sure.
Like Killmonger and Punisher, and they'll just be walking through your fucking army. Just like, oh, this guy's just going to go on a killing spree and just murder your whole fucking army. Like, oops, sorry.
Yeah,
it's gonna be crazy.
I'm good with 8 or 9, man. I think he's great.
Yeah. Okay. 8 it is. Ghost Rider. You'll get rid by the Ghost Rider. All right, we just talked about this guy earlier.
Sure.
But let's give him a rating. So we already talked about all the stuff on him. I'm going to again vote a 9, probably. Actually, I'm going to go 8 again. I think this is too much.
I was going to say 8 is exactly where I was headed. Like, this is too much. This is too much.
Like, it went all the way up to a 10, and then we read Spirit of Vengeance, and then it's back down to an 8, because you're like, you're going too far. You need to rein it in a bit. All right, so it sounds like we're in agreement with an 8 here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The Modaki. The little man himself with the big head, George Tarleton.
I still think they missed the biggest mark with him. I think they missed the biggest one.
Yeah, Force Field. Force Field was it. They just needed to get rid of Force Field or make it something else. Okay, this is how fucking stupid Force Field is. Are you ready?
Go.
I want them to change it to damage reduction.
Wouldn't that be better?
That's how stupid it is.
So much better.
I would rather him have fucking 19 hit points than fucking Force Field.
You know how much Wolverine hates that guy? Do you have any idea?
It's insane. There is no matchup in the game as one-sided as that. It is literally... but to be fair, it should be, right? Like, the man has telekinesis and mind control, and you're coming at him with knives and broken psyche. Like, there's no out for you there. Like, I like that one, but Magneto versus Wolverine is the opposite. Wolverine's actually very good against Magneto, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. Anyway, they got rid of the double mind control. They fixed his rerolls, which is quality of life at this point. What else did they change? There was one other thing, wasn't there? Oh, and rerolls only once a turn.
Mm-hmm.
So rerolls once a turn, mind control once a turn, and they fixed his rerolls, which is whatever. That was going to happen anyway, because I was never going to play it that way, so I was either never going to play this game again or they're going to fix it. So, okay. I want to say 9, but because I know that the Force Field should have been fixed, I want it to be lower than that, but I think I'm going to say 9. What do you think?
I put him in the category of the 8, just for the miss, I think. Mm-hmm. All the stuff they needed to do is great. They should have did that.
So you would have, just for clarity, what do you think would have been good? Just leave the rerolls alone, let him reroll as much as he wants, but get rid of Force Field? Or make Force Field not as good? Like what?
Get rid of Force Field, give him rerolls, whatever, because you pay for that. That's fine. And then the bow, like it is, only one time. And what was it? Yeah, like the Force Field is just shit. Like, give him, again, damage reduction. So
what if
fine.
the Force Field was, he gets cover instead of cancels wilds?
Perfect. Fine.
Okay, so cover instead of wilds, keep rerolls, bow as is. Current rules. New rules,
yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So,
good with that.
So nerf the bow, leave the rerolls, nerf the Force Field would have been your pick. Mm-hmm. I think that's where I'm at too.
It's just,
I don't really care. The rerolls or whatever, on defense they don't really matter. It's really the offensive side we're talking about. And yeah, his offense is kind of crazy, but he's a 5-point model. I'm kind of okay with his offense being good. That's fine. Characters are supposed to die. It's the fact that you can't kill him has always been the problem. The combination of I can't get there because you keep moving me away, and when I get there, my dice just aren't consistent enough to get you. So yeah, I think an 8 is fine. Force field should have been changed. It's too good.
It's such a bad play experience too, like for your opponent.
It's not even just the force field. It's the force field on top of the 10 health on the front side, and the mind control and the damage. It's like it's all of it wrapped into one. It's layers and layers and layers of defense is the problem. The offense is irrelevant. Like, I'm assuming he's going to kill every model he attacks. The problem is I have no recourse. I have no retaliation. I have no way to go in and do anything about it. I just have to watch it happen.
Yeah.
Because it happens from so far away. It happens so fast. And I have one chance generally per game to do something about it. And then you roll 2 wilds. And you're like, oops, never mind. Like, doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's terrible. But now he feels like... as shitty as it is, he still feels like a 5-point model. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. Whatever.
Yeah. No, I don't think MODOK is incredibly broken. MODOK is very good.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he's like ruining the game.
Not anymore.
Because he doesn't absolutely control objectives. Like, he's good at objective play, but he's not like dominating the game.
But Shuri can't move him.
Yeah, which just is a buff to MODOK if you think about it. It's like, I just want to clarify all the changes we've talked about, and there's 2 things nobody can argue. They inadvertently buffed Shuri and MODOK.
Nice.
All right. So let's see here. I'm going to sort these by overall score. I think that'll be fun. Okay, so top to bottom, best to worst changes, we have Hulk and Enchantress at 10.
Mm-hmm.
At 9, we have Iron Man, Ultron, and Star-Lord. I think Star-Lord was a bit high, but you argued for the 9, so that's fine. At 8, we have Green Goblin, Ghost Rider, MODOK, and Valkyrie.
Yeah.
At 7, we have Medusa, Captain America, and Groot. At 4, we have Rocket, 3, Gamora, 1, Shuri. So overall, they're doing pretty well. I mean, we only had 3 people get below a 7, so we're pretty happy with the majority of the changes. And then Shuri was just not hit enough, and we think a couple of these people were hit a little too hard in one direction or the other. But yeah, that was pretty fun. I like doing that. We'll probably do this again with the rest of them at some point. Cool. Do you have anything else, Jeremy?
No. I'm just excited for them to start releasing all these cards. I guess that's what, next year?
They did release a date. Here, let me see. It is 02/02/26. Yeah, that's when everything comes out. Jeremy's like, wait a second.
What the fuck is that?
That's when we're gonna get the shit, Jeremy.
I guess.
When all the shipping containers get here.
Oh, it's 26. I'm like, is that one of those where the date's different on a milk carton?
Is that,
kind of
is
deal?
that,
Like,
is,
what
are
is
those
that?
those Australian dates where it's backwards? It's like 26th of February in
I'm like 26.
2002.
I was like, is it really going to be 5 years from now?
Jeremy's running the numbers like his old brain's like, carry the 6.
It's
the
fucking
2.
late, man.
Where were we?
Oh, like I don't want to sound
All right.
stupid, but that's a long time.
Okay, well, that's going to do it for us today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. This has been Brandon.
It's Jeremy.
And this has been When You Ruin a Whole Fucking Hog. So what are we going to call this thing?
I got it. Okay. Incredible, new, fantastic, astonishing, mighty, original, uncanny, sensational podcast.
I'm just going to put down infamous.
So anyway, Hypixel is like this gaming organization that does like Minecraft stuff. I guess I don't know. I haven't looked into it too much, so I'm still mostly in the dark on this stuff. But they basically just made an MMO version of Skyblock, and so instead of you being alone, you're on a server with lots of other people. They're also playing Skyblock, and so you start off with your baby little island, and you grow it into like this large base. But then once you get to you can build bridges to other little tiny islands to expand your base. And some of those have a gateway portal. Go to the gateway portal. It's just like going to a WoW city. There's just like, it's like a meeting hub for everyone in Skyblock. And you just go there. But there's like, instead of just being Minecraft, there's class levels and there's like magic and you can cast spells at people. It's like Morrowind, or Morrowind. It's like the Elder Scrolls, but Minecraft.
Gotcha.
And so you fight dragons and stuff. Like, it's this whole like fantasy adventure thing. But anyway, so the streamer Technoblade, and I'm going to send you a link to the video. Please watch it. It's going to sound real stupid from the premise, but it is one of the greatest things I've seen on the internet in a long time. He gets into what is referred to as the Great Potato War. Because in the game, there's a leaderboard of all of the resources, and it's whoever has the most of any given resource. So it's like it's just a flex system. It's like, look, I've got 80,000 diamonds. I'm way better than you at the game. Like, it's just stupid shit like that. But in this game, you can actually like get minion slots where you have like these workers that work for you, and they just farm your crops and stuff while you're away. So instead of building automated farmers, you literally just hire a minion to farm your crop for you.
Okay.
And so he starts doing this stuff, and he wants to upgrade his armor, but to upgrade the armor, you need these things called hot potato books. You get them by having like 100,000 potatoes. You craft that into a book, and then the book can upgrade armor or something. It's weird. They basically have to use different items as counts as, because the game doesn't have every possible like ingredient you could need. But anyway, so in doing so, he needed to get like 12 of these hot potato books. So he had to farm potatoes for like a week. And so he went super hard in it to speed it up. And then he noticed he was like top 20 potatoes. He's like, what if I just wanted to be like the guy in number one? So I'm just going to like farm potatoes until I have the most potatoes. and so he starts farming. And he's like, okay, well, this is actually going pretty well. And I'm finding all these, like, he's looking up all these different intricate ways to enhance your potato yield and stuff. And he's got like all these different upgrades on his workers. And he's upgraded them to like level 10 and all these things. And he's like, all right, what if I want to push as hard as I could go? So he went on the internet, he got on a forum, and found the forum post for the Skyblock stuff he was playing. And one guy was bragging about being number one potatoes. So multiple times he's posted, he's like, oh, I'm number one potatoes, look how many potatoes I have. And so he makes a graph of like a time progression chart of how many potatoes he's making a day. And so he's like trying to reverse engineer how to end up with more potatoes than him. And he's doing all these weird, like, exploitive types of game loop stuff to try and get ahead of him. And it is fucking hysterical how far he goes to beat this guy in potato farming.
That sounds exactly like something I want to watch.
Yeah. Is that a joke?
No, I'm serious.
Okay.
That is I look at that kind of shit all the time.
It's on my history. Let me find it. There's three videos.
Oh yeah, it's the perfectly stupid stuff that's perfectly awesome.
Skyblock Potato War, The Great Potato War. The first video is 18 minutes. Second video is 14 minutes. The third video is 20 minutes.
I've spent hours watching things along the lines of one of my favorite ones is it was Fallout 4, where the guy simply followed the dog and protected the dog
yeah,
for his entire life of the character. That shit is amazing to me.
Yeah. Here you go. It's in the link. But it's the premise is stupid and silly, and it's kind of interesting how he pushed the game to its literal maximum, even through exploits and like hidden buffs that he's found and he's like researched. But the best part of the video is his like charismatic interaction with other people in the game. He is a actual entertaining person in addition to being like good at the game and stuff. Like, so there's the background of like the technical aspect, which he puts a little bit of work into, but the psychological warfare he commits on this other player to try and beat him at potato farming is hysterical. One of the quotes from the third video is, I decided not to do this because I don't know if forcibly sleep depriving another human being is legally considered torture, and I did not want to break the law.
Oh my god.
It was I could not stop laughing halfway through the second video. Oh my god, it was so funny.
I just opened it. It's 18 minutes of this. It's so...
I just told you that. It's about an hour if you watch all three of them.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
But you'll be hooked in the first 10 minutes.
Oh, I'm certain. For sure. Yeah, I love that stuff.
Are you going to watch it now or are you going to watch it later?
No. I'll watch it later. I'm not...
Okay, so I won't give you 20 minutes of free time.
No, please do not. Oh, yeah. Any of those crazy videos of... I don't know, what was it, the Skyrim player that never attacked a person, that leveled to maximum. I'm like, what the fuck? So, gotta watch that.
Yeah. I started kind of getting back into Minecraft. The most recent update, it's called Caves and Cliffs, which is exactly what I've always wanted. Is just, what if we took the, like, Y-axis of the game, which is the up-down,
and doubled it.
And it's like, what if we just maxed it? Like, what if it was just
Mhm.
triple the height, triple the deep? Let's go. And it's like, what if there was like a whole nother layer of hell down below the rock? You're like, yes, that is what I want from Minecraft. And I've been wanting to get back into it, but it's just, finding that it has to grab me, and about once a year, Minecraft will grab me hard, and I'll be in it for 3 months and not move. But
Yeah, my friend is like that. My friend from Atlanta. He's one of those people that's like, you want to see something really cool? And he'll jump on the computer, and throw something together, and I'm like, what the fuck?
The problem I have with Minecraft is I get so into it that I finish it. Like, whatever I'm doing, like, you saw that giant castle I was building. And it's like, I spent probably 300 hours in that world. And it was just like, the point is like, there's no challenge. Like, I go to fight the hardest thing in the game, and it's just like, I literally just stand there and let it hit you. It can't kill you because my armor's so fucking over the top. And it's just like, I've maxed out every enchantment you can have. If I ever, like, lost all of my equipment, I could replace it in an hour because I have so many resources backlogged. I have a villager that will sell me every enchantment in the game for basically no money. I've got so much, like, in-game value. Like, I could build a castle out of emeralds and not notice a difference in my total, like, deposit. Like, it's just silly.
Yeah, I realized that game wasn't for me. I mean, it's still fun. I'll get on and build something because my kids will be there. But, like, in any sort of depth, like I say, my friend came over and he was like, have you seen one of those raid places? I'm like, no. He's like, well, let me show you something. So he goes where they do the raids or whatever, and you go do their tower, and all the people start pouring out of their tower and attacking or whatever. I'm like, okay, that's cool. He's like, no, watch what you can do. So he puts a grinder at the top and builds a situation where these dudes kept getting appeared and then flowed into the center and puked out of a grinder and then created separators for all their shit. And he's like, okay, so now you have unlimited things. What next? I'm like, what?
Yeah, I have that for every resource in the game. Basically.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, look at my light switch. I learned how to use Red Rock, and I could turn a light switch on. Click.
I had so much green dye in the game because I made a cactus farm for a separate reason because I needed something else. So I had so much green dye in the game that I had like 6 double chests of green dye. I was like, what the fuck are you supposed to do with green dye? And I couldn't think of anything to use it for, so I looked it up online. It's like, oh, you can sell green dye to shepherds in the game. So if you had shepherd villagers, you could sell them green dye at this certain like skill level. And then, so I was like, okay. And so I spent 10 hours, like, leveling up 3 shepherds. And then when they got to the final level where it's like, okay, they'll buy green dye from you. If they wouldn't buy green dye, I just poured lava on their heads. Like, you have failed me. It's like lava.
Now you're done.
And it's like, so now I have, like, 6 people that buy green dye. And so I just, like, oh, there's like, 6,000 emeralds, I guess. Now what? Like,
you have to build an exact replica of the actual size of the planet Earth, and then create a moon that's the exact distance in feet. I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah.
There's a game mod for that, actually.
I'm sure there is. Have fun.
There's that same streamer that I sent you the link for. He's doing a series on that right now, where it's a 1 to 3,000 scale of planet Earth. And they're doing a PvP, so like you can form alliances and take over stuff. And so right now he's the king of Antarctica, and he's got like an alliance and they're trying to take over the whole world. It's pretty funny.
Oh my god.
And then there's a portal somewhere on the planet that teleports you to the moon.
God.
And so you can take over the moon.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a cool game. I'm actually going to get my kids for Christmas. I just bought them and had them shipped. By the way, side note, if you have any plans on buying anything interesting for Christmas this year, get it now because it won't be there come December.
Yeah.
Like, shit's gone.
I didn't think about that.
Shit's gone.
Yeah, the supply chain issues are going to get even worse.
Oh, yeah. So I started noticing in Target, I'm like looking for Switches because I was like, I have twin boys, so I want to get them both a Switch. And I'm like, good Christmas present, done. Spent money,
Oh, yeah.
done.
Switches would be a great
Yeah.
Christmas present.
They're 9, perfect. And I noticed at Target, there's none on the shelves. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? I go to another Target, none on the shelves. Dude, I jumped online that second. I got the last 2 that were for sale from Target, and they're going to be here Friday. But oh man, I got scared. I was like, I don't know what to do. That was the present I had this year. Like, that's the thing.
Isn't there a brand new generation of the Switch coming out?
Yes, they don't have it.
Is that what you got?
No, I got the.
You have the original?
No, I ended up getting the Lite. So it's like the $200 one where you just Wi-Fi, you download games to it. It doesn't use the.
Is it the controllers are made into it?
Yes, it's just a self-contained unit. Yeah, a little smaller, but it's $100 cheaper. And my kids don't need the fucking things that come off. Like, they'll just break that anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with the detachable controllers, but it's fine without.
They don't need to build the cardboard suit and walk around with some sort of whatever's going on with that business. I don't know.
Dude, I am still waiting for fucking Nintendo Switch Gundams where you build like a fucking cardboard suit. You put like 8 controllers in it, you're fucking beam sorting bitches.
8
like,
controllers.
Let's go, motherfucker. I gotta do that split apart gun with 2 controllers, like Wing Zero, motherfuckers.
If they don't do that, they're really missing. They really missed an opportunity.
I think I would take out a loan to buy that. Financially ruin myself so I could be a Gundam.
They're like, good news is it exists. Bad news is I need 47 controllers. How is it? Okay, so on that subject, how is it the PlayStation 5 has been out for a year plus, and it still isn't on a shelf? You cannot buy one.
It has the words PlayStation in its title, which basically means they don't make them. They just say they do, and it makes people very upset.
How the fuck is I can't even...
It's just a scam. It's actually just a computer program you load up, and then they stream that, and they say it's a console. It's not really. It's just a desktop.
So stupid. I just... And the thing is, I don't need it, but I have to have it. Like they win. No, but they win. Like, they've made it.
The last console, I mean, technically speaking, my Switch is a console, but the last console I owned was my Xbox 360.
I mean, I don't even...
I do not regret buying that, but I can't imagine of buying any of the other ones. Like, dude, just go to console.
No. The thing is...
No.
No.
With the price of a fucking console these days, I can build you a PC.
Well, I know you can, but I don't want a PC because then you got to load everything up and fucking deal with that shit. I want to be able to put a game in.
It loads faster than fucking PlayStation does.
Yeah, well,
you gotta fucking like download all these data packs nowadays. Like, it takes like 4 hours.
Yeah, whatever.
I feel like you're Charlie watching.
I know. I just noticed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not disputing any of my points. You're saying no.
I'm not. I'm actually not.
But you can do so much more with a PC. Like, I know it's like an argument. The argument for consoles has always been a convenience thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I can just put the CD in and it's done. I don't have to worry about, like, making sure my specs are right, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, but realistically, if you build a good computer, your specs will be in for a very long time.
Honestly, I just like the fact that my kids can fuck with it without dealing with the shenanigans of a computer. Like, really, that's really all I care about.
Yeah, but that's what the Switch is for. You play your Switch games. I play on my computer.
Yeah. I don't even play games, though. That's the thing. I have no business with the PlayStation 5. I don't even play games. I don't even care.
Mm-hmm.
But I need one because I've never seen one in the wild.
I just want to own it. I don't want to use it.
I just need it.
You should have been one of the flippers. You should have bought one just to own it for a while and then sell it for triple.
Yeah, it's true. I couldn't get my hands on one, though, so I lose.
Yeah.
Is Parker dead?
He might legitimately have died. I'm going to call him again, but I don't remember him saying anything about he's not going to be available.
No, he didn't.
Says he was active on Messenger 38 minutes ago. Well, that's insulting.
Any luck?
Not yet.
He's gone. He's dead to us.
Fuck, he might be dead to everybody.
That's strange. Yeah, it's been, what, a year plus? And he's never
not said anything. He's always been like, hey, like, if he's not going to be here, he said in advance. Or if he was running super late, he'd at least message us saying he was going to be late.
Yeah.
That's why I'm wondering if, like, something's actually wrong.
Yeah.
But then he's like, it said he was on... Like, I could believe he legitimately fell asleep.
Mm-hmm. He's mid-school year, man. They get their ass kicked as a teacher. Like, they get fucked up. Do you have his mom's number? Can we, like, call a parent over to check on him? Or, ooh, we need to call in
his
a
wife
SWAT.
And wake her up. I'll call his wife, wake her up, and just see how that does for his evening.
Yeah. Or we'll just have him swatted. That's the best way, really, to be sure. Just to be sure.
Yeah, it's the only way to be sure that he's not just asleep. It looked like you were firing up your video game console. You like were leaning back, holding a controller. Like,
No.
It's like, I guess I'm playing the wrestling video game
Play
now.
some games again, Just a couple games real quick.
Speaking of wrestling, because I know you're like an old school wrestling fan. I've been watching this guy that streams the Marvel Strike Force game, and his name's Mr. Hargraves, but he also is a big wrestling fan.
Yeah.
But he quit watching wrestling in the early 2000s because he didn't like the direction it was going. He preferred like the more classical style. But he's a big fan of the new AEW wrestling. Are you watching that?
No, I'm not.
It's supposedly a much improved product. Like they actually like care about stuff other than just making money. But it's interesting. But there's you should probably give it a try. I've heard really good things, and a lot of people are starting to get back into wrestling because of that.
It's fun. If they do it right, it's fun. Like there's a little bit of drama. You got dudes beating up each other.
They actually they've started doing pay-per-views, and they're actually selling out arenas and stuff.
No shit.
Well, yeah, no, they're like a big deal. It's not just a joke.
Yeah,
and it's funny because they were talking about how no other company would ever be able to do it again because of how WWE had monopolized the market. But they're totally. Apparently, the storyline was there's this wrestler named Kenny Omega who spent a lot of time in Japan. He's like a cult favorite in like the wrestling circles. But anyway, he had like 3 of the highest rated matches ever by like this independent wrestling match rating guy, and so that got a lot of traction for him. And so they had an independent wrestlers like event where it was like they tried to sell out a venue and stuff. And this like Japanese billionaire guy, or he owns like multiple sports teams. He was there and he's like a big wrestling fan. And he went up to them after the show. He's like, "Hey, do you guys just want to start your own company? I'll bankroll you." And so they have this like billionaire guy who's like, "I love what you guys are doing. Please do more of it. Here's like $100 billion."
So like a Saudi,
like,
you said Japanese?
I think he's Japanese.
Sounds like a Saudi Arabia prince thing.
Yeah. Anyway, so they found that's how they founded the All Elite Wrestling.
Huh. Well, I mean, for people that don't get what's going on there and like why people dig it, I don't know. Do you enjoy the Marvel universe? Do you like Captain America? Guess what? He's not fucking real. Like, I mean, it's just a story.
Yeah, people are like, "Well, wrestling isn't real." It's like, yeah. What part of this made you think it was real?
It has nothing to do with it.
But yeah, it just because it's fiction doesn't mean it's not fun to watch.
Oh hell yeah,
like,
man!
When I was a kid, watching those table, ladder, and chair matches on WWF, like that was fucking insane. Like, holy shit, it was entertaining.
It's even better.
And yeah,
now.
like there's parts of it like the rest breaks are not fun, but you know they're human beings, guys. Like they can't just keep throwing themselves against a wall and like running at full speed. It's like, and I don't care how scripted it is, when you get thrown off of a 20-foot ladder onto like a padded concrete slab, it fucking hurts.
I mean, there's story after story about certain matches that the people who were in them, like that Undertaker, what was his name? Mankind match is just legendary. Like they damn near both died. Like that was the craziest shit ever.
I mean, literally there's like, you could see the pictures of Mick Foley mid-match where one of his teeth was shoved up through his nose. It's insane. Like, that's the force at which he hit the mat. Like, it drove one of his teeth through his skull into his nose.
Yeah, those were I mean, that shit was
I
fun
love
to watch.
I love watching watching the documentary of him telling the story of the match, like reliving it in real time. And they're talking about it's like, so Mick, when you got thrown through, not the second time you got thrown off the top of the cage, but this time through the cage onto the mat, and like we all thought you had broken your back, like, and you kind of woke up after a couple minutes. What was going through your head? He's like, well, I rolled over. And apparently this other guy came out to check on me while the Undertaker, like, you know, sold the shot while he's standing there all harnessed over my body. And he's like, and Undertaker says to the guy, he's like, is he dead? Like, that's the only thing he said to the guy. He's like, is he dead? Did I just kill somebody? Because this was the script. And he goes over to Mick. He's like, and he like checks on Mick. And he goes back to the Undertaker's like, no, he's breathing. Like, that's all he could say. And I was like, God. I don't know what you want me to do. I'm not a fucking doctor. Like, he's not dead.
Yeah.
And so to keep selling the scene, then Undertaker chokeslams the guy. But when he chokeslams it with so much like vigor that he rips the guy out of his shoes, and his shoes just stay on the mat because he's wearing like slip-ons. And he chokeslams the guy. And about this time, Mankind wakes up and he rolls over. He's kind of like taken in the scene because he doesn't remember the last 10 minutes. And he's like, oh my God, where'd those shoes come from? And there's just 2 pair of shoes on the fucking mat. And he doesn't know where the guy was. He never knew there was another guy in the ring. So he's like, whose shoes are in the middle of the mat? We're trying to have a match here, you idiots. Like, it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's like, who can't appreciate that shit? Like, you have to
cannot imagine. Like, the only way you'd get me off the top of that thing is if somebody threw me. Like, there's no way.
They're so high. Yeah.
I have a fear of heights, but, like, it's so much higher when you get up there than it looks from down below. Mm-hmm. Oh, my God, it's so much higher than you think it is. It's like 25 feet. Like, his body would have been able to rotate several times on the way down. It's like, holy fuck. But you get up there and it's like a totally different feeling. It's like, yeah, it's like you're literally going to have to throw me off this thing. Like, I'm not going to fall.
Yeah, those are crazy. So that's a lot of fun. I might check that out. Check out the new season if I'm clicking around looking at stuff.
Oh, we got confirmation today that actually I'll save this for the podcast. Let me put it in the news. Oh, hey, are you the one that left sunglasses in my car? Or is that
No,
Parker?
I don't have sunglasses.
Okay. You don't believe in them?
Do not.
Okay, well, I guess we should probably get started. I guess Parker's not coming. Does that work for you?
Yeah, it's fine. You got topic all picked out and all that? Like, I'll roll with whatever.
We'll get through it.
Okay. Do it live!
Take care of some stuff real quick. Gotta spend my energy, you know.
I'm gonna say, listen, your first job and love is right there.
I know, right? I have one job. It's play Marvel Strike Force while I'm talking to you.
I understand. I've accepted it.
All right. I think I'm good here. Shutting this down. Close. Give me a number 1 to 84.
37.
Ooh. Interesting choice. Now, what made you decide that?
Don't know. Just is.
You just picked your age minus 20?
Fuck you. No.
I was wondering how long it was going to take you to work that out.
I had to do the math real quick. I was like, wait. Yeah,
I know you oldies aren't that great with math.
Can't do new math. It's so hard.
You can't change math. Why would you change math? Okay. Boy, this is going to be a whole thing. Let's see here. Okay. Oh man, this doesn't work. Hold on. Google Translate got too powerful.
Oh no.
It's too good at its job. No. Let's try. Oh, maybe this is the problem. That was not the problem.
Is it too powerful?
I mean, people are just getting too good at their jobs. Mostly computers. I think a lot of people would agree with that.
Did I tell you my dad was burying a pig last weekend in a fire pit, and we were going to dig it up and eat it and all that? Tell you about that?
Tell me that.
No. So last weekend we had this hog roast thing my dad's been excited about for like an entire year. It's one of those group message things. It's like, Jesus Christ, if I hear one more time with 37 people saying they're going to a hog roast, I'm going to freak out. Anyway, it happened. He called me and was like, hey, we're going to do this. What should I look for? And I'm like, listen, it needs to be this temperature. You got to go this long. Don't fuck around. It's pig. Like, you're going to kill everybody you know. He's like, okay, we're cool. He buries
You're
it.
gonna kill everybody you know.
Yeah, I'm like, everyone will die.
Salmonella is real, boys.
Like, yeah, you're going to kill everyone. And so he buries the thing with a bunch of coals and does the thing like that, like Islanders do or whatever. And then he calls me the next day like, hey, it's at 140 degrees and it's still rising. I'm like, well, I'd say you're about 8 to 10 hours from where you need to be. And also, that means that it was sitting at like 90 degrees or so for a real long time. I'm like, that doesn't sound good. It's like, all right, well, I'm going to give you a call in an hour when you're on your way. I'm like,
I'll get called an hour once we're all fucked.
I'm like, fuck, dude. I'm like, this is so bad. I get a call when I'm on my way. He's like, where you at? I'm like, I'm about Bait City. I'm like, okay. He's like, I'm going to call in and get some barbecue ordered from the barbecue place. I'm like, oh, so it didn't work out? He's like, well, we dug it up, and it's still real tough, and it only got to like 145. I'm like, oh, my God. Okay. So we get there. Here's the thing. I don't know what it is about country folk and a whole pig, but no one's throwing nothing away. Everybody's just going to take their hunk.
They're going to eat it.
And number one, they're all picking at it while it's like sitting on the table. I'm like, you guys are fucking crazy. And then they started cutting it up, and everybody starts to take hunks of it, and they're going to take it home and just eat it. And I told my dad.
That way they die alone.
I was like, well, I go, 90% of the time, everyone's just going to have the worst diarrhea of their life. I go, but that 10% shot is really not, I'm like, I'm not eating it. Just so y'all know, I'm not eating it. But yeah, I went through this huge process, did this hole that looked like a grave in this garden. It did like this huge amount of work, and it turned out to be just like, he was about, 8 hours shy of actually getting it done right. It's crazy.
Yeah, you just need to start sooner.
Yes. Yeah, I think he was doing his best to make it like an 8 to 12 hour kind of deal, and it really needed like 18 to 20. Like, it just needed longer. It's a huge pig. But we had great barbecue from Bait City Barbecue. Today's episode sponsored by Bait City Barbecue. Some of the best barbecue you can buy when you ruin a whole fucking hog.
When you ruin a whole fucking hog.
I was like, how much was it? He goes, it's about $100 for that pig. I'm like, cool. I'm like, you just ordered $145 worth of pulled pork. But that's cool too, I guess. I feel like you're out. I feel like you lost this. I just put that in the category of shit people that live in Bait City do.
Yeah. Okay, well, this segment might not work because there's just too good. Maybe the sentence isn't complicated enough. Nope. It's coming out like verbatim exactly. I'm so disappointed. Is there like a Dollar General translator we can use?
Oh, yeah.
That's not very good.
Is it the Wish, the Wish.com version?
What's like the hardest language you would imagine to translate to and from?
I would think it would be Japanese.
You think so?
I would think so. It's crazy. Japanese is crazy.
Oh, it's coming out perfect. I tried Japanese.
Huh.
All right, so let's do English to Japanese, and then Japanese to, what's another hard one? Thinking like a non-Asian language.
German?
Throw it off. German, you think? German's different.
Or Swedish? Swedish is very different than Japanese.
Oh, here we go. We'll just run it through the loops. All right, Japanese to German. German to traditional Chinese. And then traditional Chinese to English. Got it.
Did it work that time?
I'm still going.
Oh,
Hold on.
okay.
I gotta do it manually.
My
'Cause
PlayStation,
I don't have a translator that does it 4 times.
my PlayStation 5 would have been able to pull that off if I had it.
I bet it would have if you owned one.
It would have been smooth.
Okay. We actually finally got a not verbatim response.
Oh, look at that.
Okay. I'm even doing like the kanji characters. I'm not copying the like American alphabet version.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe it's just the line I'm trying to translate is just too simple. Because when I'm trying to do the copy the text from the card thing, but they try to use very like non-intrusive language. I don't know if that makes sense. They try and use like the most simplified words as possible that so you can't get it confused, and they're very specific, and so there's no like colloquialisms or like slang or like shortened words. So let's do
Greek.
Ooh, Greek would have been a good one. Hi, dog. All right, I think there's a chance this will get it. Ugh, no, that's not hard. Damn.
It's too good at its job.
Yeah. All right, so from Japanese to Swedish, and Swedish to English. Ah. All right. Let's do. Okay. Sorry, I bet this is riveting on your end.
It is.
That's funny. So the point of this, the topic, was to find something on the character card to over translate, and then have the other members of the cast try to guess who it is.
Mm-hmm.
And the character you chose at random is not easy to find stuff that's hard to translate.
Oh,
Does that make sense?
it does.
Like, it's a lot of very simple words.
Gotcha.
Damn it. Alright, we're just gonna pick a new character, because this is just not gonna work. So give me another number.
Let's go 71.
Okay, this will probably be easier. Also, I don't know if I gave it away at any point while I was randomly mumbling to myself.
I wasn't paying attention to it. I don't pay attention to your mumblings.
You're missing a lot. Alright. Alright, am I going too far now? This is starting to work. Alright, let's just do the double translate then, because I think I'm going down too many rabbit holes as is.
Mm-hmm. You're working awfully hard on this.
Yeah, alright. Well, I mean, this is so we know how to do it in the future, but I think the problem was what I was starting with was just so simple that you can't fuck it up. And initially, my plan was to do the character's name, but the way names generally work is, they don't really get translated. They just, like, have the meaning they have. And so, it was just odd. Okay. Alright, so have that ready for later. Anything else we want to do? reminds me I need to update the spreadsheet at some point so we can do new stuff.
My money's on Parker fell asleep.
You think so?
Yeah, he had to have. Because he would have at least texted you back and or like answered and said, hey, I'm at the ER or something, you know.
Yeah, maybe. He didn't like ignore my message, so he might have just like I'm thinking like if something happened, he might have just like left his phone at home.
I can't imagine that.
I don't know, like something, or maybe his phone's dead, like it died and he doesn't realize it died, so he never got like notifications that we're trying to get a hold of him. I don't know. Whatever. Hopefully he's okay.
Everyone's rooting for him.
Yeah, hope he pulls through. Pulls through his nap. He's gonna call me right as we start, like, oh man, I fell asleep. Like, oh god. Alright, are you ready?
Sure.
Alright, let's do start.
Oh my god. Thanks,
Jeremy,
Dad.
don't eat the meat.
Thanks, Dad.
Don't eat it, Jeremy.
Good job. Good job, Dad.
Don't ruin that whole hog.
He's ruined the hog.
Oh boy, that was actually pretty fun.
That's good.
We gotta do a rhythm after a while.
It's all good.
Now we didn't have Parker here distracting us the whole time.
We didn't get to his sultry voice.
Well, I'm sure our listeners are gonna love it because he's like unanimously hated by the fans.
Yeah, I mean,
he keeps telling them that they're dumb and their Southern favorites are bad.
it's
It's
true.
like I was like, Parker, you cannot go on the podcast and have the stance that Rogue and Gambit are bad characters. They will literally drive to your house and kill you. Like,
You don't know those
there's
people.
no way you get it out of this.
They're very opinionated, strong people.
He's like, yeah, Scott and Gene have a better storyline than Gambit and Rogue. I was like,
Oh my
stop
God.
talking. Stop talking
Just
right
no,
now.
quit it.
It's like, you are going to get murdered in an alleyway. Like,
Yeah, they have flags on their trucks. Please stop.
yeah, they're
Please
coming
stop.
for your life.
They're very proud
Oh, boy.
people.
Yeah. Okay, so conveniently, in the same post that they made about why they're making the changes, they said specifically, we have been taking in feedback from the community and listening to podcasts and things, and the opinions we've heard are blah, 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 so we're going to change the, like, who gets to pick the point total.
Yeah.
So this is my dear please letter to Will Pagani, because I know you listen, Will. I know you do. He loves listening to us.
Can't help it.
Please don't make us play random missions, and please, for the love of God, just cut Shuri's card off halfway down. Just get rid
right
of
there,
half of the broken
Yep,
shit.
the bottom
Like,
half.
you could delete so many things off her character, and she's still amazing. Oh my god.
A 3-point model that gave rerolls to your entire faction, or just whoever's near her.
Yeah, I was like, that's not affiliated? Nope. It's like, I can't believe she gives rerolls out to range 3. It's like, no, she doesn't. It's like, oh, thank God, it's only range 2. It's like, no, it's range 4. What?
You would think you'd have to be base to base. Like, something.
I have punched children for less than that. Like, there is no reason this needs to happen. Range 5 fucking energy attack. Get the fuck out of here. I don't even know why you roll dice. It should just say deals 1 damage on auto hit. Like, what the fuck? Oh my god, it's so annoying. There is no, like, even Valkyrie, in the heyday of Valkyrie, could impact a game as much as Shuri.
Yeah, playing against Wakanda on Gamma and also Shuri in there was just holy fuck. It's just ridiculous. So yeah, I'm with you. I'll sign that letter.
Yeah, please, please, please. And if you guys want, listeners at home, if you have Will Pagani on Facebook Messenger, just send him a message, be like, hey, Will, how about we tone down that Shuri a little bit? Just like into the realm of reality, maybe. Like, oh my god, I hate her so much.
I was at a one of the last GTs like 20 years ago or something, and for 40K, and they'd come out with something or other, and it was the game designer at the time, whoever it was, one of the main ones, and they were like, so any questions? And some guy stood up, and it was like all quiet, there's 450 people, whatever, and they go, what's with force weapons? And he just sits down. And the guy was like, yeah, they're like weapons that, like attack and like, yeah, they're cool weapons. They move on. So the whole thing is, what's with Shuri? It's the same thing. Like, someone needs to stand up and raise their hand, and they're like, "Yep, go ahead, guy in black shirt right there."
So I was the last several days. There's been a guy coming into our shop. His name's Nathan. He's a pretty cool guy, but he's been playing 40K pretty consistently for the last couple of years. But he joined 40K in 8th edition, one of the more recent editions, and that was after vehicles went to wound profiles and armor values. And so he hasn't known like the classics of 40K. And now that vehicles are on wound profiles, including all the way up to like Titans, like a Titan can have like 20, 30, 40 wounds. Like it's not inconceivable to see like 100 wounds coming on like the really, really big Apocalypse level stuff. And so I was explaining some of the, like old sweeping advance and initiative values and shit like that, like how psychic powers used to work. And then I got to Grey Knights. I was like, oh yeah, and they all had force weapons. He's like, what's a force weapon? I was like, oh, you don't know what a force weapon is. I was like, yeah, it's like, well, you know how a psychic test works now? He's like, yeah, it's like there's a target value and you roll so many dice and you're trying to get the target number. It's like, okay, well, it used to just be a leadership check. He's like, oh, so you rolled 1d6 versus your leadership. It's like, no. Leadership used to be 2d6 and you just needed equal or lower than your leadership on 2 dice. And there wasn't really modifiers. It was like, that's your leadership. So almost every psyker was leadership 10, right? There's very few psychers that are only leadership 9. Like even orcs basically got to check on 10s. It was like a 95% chance your shit went off. So anyway, I was like, if you wound somebody with a force weapon, you make a leadership check, and the model goes away. And he's like, what do you mean it goes away? It's like, it's just slain outright. Was actually the terminology used was slain outright. No save. I was like, what? And I was like, yeah, like, so you go up to like a greater demon, like Fate Weaver is here, like the named champion of Tzeentch, and you're like, I stab him in the foot with this knife, and he just vanishes. And you're like, what? Like he could not comprehend that. It was like this fucking. It was like, who had these? Literally every psyker in the game had one of these.
Oh yeah.
It's like, what? That can't be true. It was like the Demon Hunters faction. Every model they had has a force weapon. It's like some of them have 2. Like they have 2 wielding force weapons.
Yeah.
I stab people in the feet and they go poof. Like it was so crazy trying to go back and comprehend how that shit worked. Explaining how you could massacre into new units and fight with them. It's like, oh my god, it was so dumb.
Yeah, engulf the entire army with one unit.
Yeah, it's like once you only had to survive 2 rounds of shooting because once you got there, you would never be shot again. It's like shooting was no longer allowed because it's turn 3. Oh boy, yeah, it's fun times. All right, well I'm ready to get out of here. You ready?
Yup.